Click the go. Here we go.
Click the go. Frame it up.
Yeah, I don't know. You got this crazy fan spinning above. I guess it doesn't really shoot any light, any crazy. It's not like a disco yet.
Yeah, so we're sitting here in our new office.
Yeah.
And we got light one over there, which is like, how many lights? 4 lights on
Four.
there.
Yeah.
Here's a 4 light one with one out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one over
The
here.
4 one that's really bright.
Yeah, that one, if you look at it too long, your eyes start.
I got a light behind us.
Right.
The key light or whatever.
Okay, well, welcome, fellow pickers and would-be adventurers. I don't know if we did an intro there or not.
I don't know what's an intro and what's not.
I'm going to control the editing today on The Crazy Picker Life with Wheeler, Dealer, and Banana Peeler.
The Edit Meister Show.
Welcome, fellow pickers and would-be adventurers. Slightly out of sync Dealer from the Crazy Picker Life with the other half of the show, or another big part of the show, Wheeler.
Crazy here, Wheeler, yeah.
Yeah.
It just keeps going.
So last night, I thought everything was great, and I think I had a bout of minor food poisoning, and on top of that, some really quality beer, and all of a sudden I just sort of... I sort of spun out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I can drink beer. So it had to be the food poisoning. But, man, do not add beer on top of minor food poisoning or you will have a spin out.
Yeah.
So today I'm a little off my game. Both of us, I think, are a little off our game after a long week.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a question and answer show. We'll talk about that and the format and all that in a minute. So at the end of our week here, you got through sort of a new sorting listing system where you split the items you're listing for the week in five totes, or however many days you plan to list for the week. How did that go?
Well, if I'm adding it up correctly, I think 26 items a day was my average after it was all said and done, so that's pretty good.
And we're working hard to get you the best camera stuff so that your time is well spent.
Yep, good listing dollar average and all that kind of stuff.
Good listing dollar average. And then this week, did you figure out how many days we're going to be in the office listing?
I'm assuming 5, yeah.
Yeah, some days it's, you know, we're out of the office a few days for the week. I've been out of the office at least one day a week, average or more, for the last 8 or 9 or 10 weeks, or whenever we started moving and trying to fix up our other house and some of the travels. So it's been hard for me to sync up with everything.
Mm-hmm.
We did rummage sales yesterday.
Yep. Citywide garage sale deal.
Citywide garage sale, and probably show off a few things from that in next video next week.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's one item in there that you found that we got for nothing that looks like a good one. So
pretty good score, yeah.
Let's do a little research on that, and then maybe we'll just make a little video on that.
Yep.
The question and answer show that we're about to do, this is not our first one.
Mm-hmm.
But it is the first one in our new house that we're living in and our new work environment. And my life, like I said, is pretty scrambled yet. We still have our other home not quite up for sale, but soon to be up for sale. It should sell pretty quick. It's in a strong selling environment for that price point of home.
Mm-hmm.
Good location, all that. And then I feel that my life will calm down a little bit after that. We are also training some new people, new family members.
Yep.
Kate is doing listing and doing very well with that. We finished through the first sort of all those models. And so I think she got close to 80 or 100 of them, the best ones listed this week. And then we have a bunch that are either low priced or missing parts that we're going to lot up.
Mm-hmm.
Banana peeler is doing much more of the packing, and he's one of my key special project guys, and so he's learning a bunch of different things. What else do we have going on?
I don't know. I guess just everybody's getting involved, and the ball's starting to roll as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and that's
The new
really
house.
what I was hoping was going to happen. The move sort of coincided with Kate joining the business more or less full time, and summer starting, which means we've got a little extra time without some of the children in school. And Lon, my wife, didn't start a new job position but moved to a new office, as well as some working from home. So it's been quite a shift, and I agree with you. I think the ball is starting to roll. Okay, so that's the intro.
Yep.
So the question and answer shows can go quite long. We're going to try to keep an eye on the clock on my phone here, which is going to let us know when we have to take an increment break on there.
Yep.
We started right here around 8 p.m.-ish, and so I'm going to mentally aim at about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We've been known to go longer
Oh yeah.
once we get wrapped up and
To get rolling.
and rolling. The questions for this show were submitted in YouTube videos in the last 30 days. Gonna sneeze. Edit that out. Wow. And the questions were submitted in the last 30 days. And YouTube, just like any other online service, app, what do you call them? Community.
Yeah. I don't know.
Always changing.
Mm-hmm.
And so since the last time, everything seems to me like it's changed since I tried to copy questions and come up with some sort of format that we can use.
Yep.
Here's what we get. We get all kinds of comments. We get real good constructive comments. We get, hey, how are you doing? Comments, haven't seen you in a while, glad to see you comments. We get like some casseroles,
Mm-hmm.
giving us some razzing, trolls, whatever.
Yeah.
You get some questions like we're going to go through here. You get some people relating their life and their business and their experiences. So you get all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And for the most part, I like that. And for the most part, in fact, I read them all. And it's funny because there's a comment in here that I'm going to read about that.
Yeah.
From a longtime watcher who I know is watching this show. I do read them all, and I have made the choice not to answer them on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to, and sometimes I still do occasionally.
Yeah, I'll pop in and answer a camera question or something if somebody has a specific one.
But in reality, I can't. And my life consists, and maybe yours does not as much, but you understand, and everybody viewing understands, my life is one big interruption. One big rolling interruption.
Mm-hmm.
6 children, my beautiful wife Lon, home business, big house, 2 houses now, just pretty active business. Stuff is breaking that needs fixing. Telemarketers are calling. Deliveries are happening. Laundry is happening. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't just sit there and answer questions and things like that. I got too much going on. That's why we do the show.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we did, and I'm not going to go on and on about this, but everybody's sort of interested in how the YouTube thing works and how the interaction works and why we do what we do and why I don't answer every question online or why I used to or why some people do. So the YouTube for us is an extra.
Mm-hmm.
This is not how we make our living. I guess you could call it sort of a social outlet of venting. I like to show what a family can do in America if you put your mind to it. You can have a family business still in America. You can have a family in America. You can make money in America. I like to show that off a little bit because people need to see that. We don't want in America to become a country where you can't be an entrepreneur, or you can't have a family, or you can't make money from home. We don't want to do that, so we like to show that off. And it gives some interaction with other fellow pickers and wanderers and travelers, so it's a good thing. So the daunting task of getting questions to answer for this show, and the reason I say it's a daunting task is I went in there, and you got to have the right browser up, okay? I'm an old school computer guy. I know how to get around. I know how to get things done, but you got to have the right browser, and then you got to open them all up and hope they don't close up on you, and then you got to select them all, and it takes all the pictures and the names of the people who left the comments and everything along with it, and it basically bogs down and kills my computer for about 10 minutes, and I copy and paste that to a Word processor, and the only one that I had that could take the 220 pages of comments, and actually it wasn't that much, it was about 130 pages, was Word.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Office, whatever,
Google Docs or no, Open Office.
Open Office couldn't handle it.
Google Docs pretty good. But.
And I got a big hard drive, and I've got a big bunch of memory, and it's a workstation, and it still crushed it.
Oh yeah, well I've done that with my computer there. Like when I'm opening, when I was doing like all the item recaps for a little while, where I was opening, my orders were getting a week 140 tabs or something.
Yeah.
That would pretty much, I had to wait for an hour for it to all load enough where when long stuff down, I try to scroll through them fluidly.
Yeah.
Crazy. It'll do it. It just takes a little.
So after killing my word processor a couple times and going over to Word, and after YouTube closed up the comments like 3 or 4 times while I was trying to scroll through there, and all these different little things, the text is so small. The next thing I have to do is I have to delete all the ones that aren't questions. Because there's 130 pages. I don't want to print 130 pages on my printer necessarily. Okay, not to mention it's little text. So the first thing I did actually is I took it to 20-point text, which took it to 220 pages.
Nice, yeah. Just getting better and better.
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh, I could print 220 pages. So then I spent some time going through and click, 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 trying to read really fast and get rid of all the ones that aren't questions. So there's still like almost 40 pages of questions.
Yeah.
Some people would find that daunting.
Yeah. I'll plug in the camera here before you get going.
Oh, you're not plugged in?
No, I just noticed that a little
It doesn't have a thing on there, but yeah, I used to upgrade everything I could. Cars, phones, computers, the newest Netflix version, whatever, all that stuff. Upgrade. This is my 3rd year with this phone.
Yeah.
And it is, at the time, it was the top of the line iPhone 7,
whatever
8,
it is,
whatever it is. And it was the top memory and the top everything. And after 3 years, the charger port doesn't work quite right. Everything is seizing up. Some of it I think is use, and some of it is the way they do it.
Planned obsolescence, or whatever you call it.
So
it's a plan there.
I plugged this thing in a while ago, and it is not charging like it used to.
Yeah. How can you tell if it's actually going there?
Can't
tell. Yeah. Hopefully it is.
Yeah, this may be a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Okay, so these questions are in order from newest, the ones that just came in, to oldest. So the most relevant questions will be done first, and then it's funny because you can actually see this on YouTube. People will slowly fall off. Oh, what's that? lighting?
I don't know. It's just your camera.
People will slowly. It doesn't like it when I do this.
No, it doesn't.
When I do this, it starts getting weird and dark.
Scoot.
Fall off
DJ.
until it's just me and you, Wheeler, and one person watching us.
Yeah.
So if you're the last viewer standing or sitting like we are, congratulations.
Yeah.
But we're only at the beginning. So
Yeah. How many do you think we lost so far?
I don't know. It's pretty
25%.
pretty boring monologue.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing stuff at my desk, whether it's listing, which I'm not doing enough of, or bills, or ordering supplies, or just general making some to-do lists and projection lists and lists for, you know, what we're going to cover in our weekly meeting, whatever, I have the YouTube going, and if it's a video where I've got to watch it, it doesn't work very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer videos where there's somebody talking about a subject. They don't have to be talking super fast. I don't put it at 2 times. I just have it in the background and I'm absorbing and listening, and I think that's what kind of video this is.
Yeah, and absolutely, I listen to a lot of the same kind of stuff. I mean, I listen to like hour and a half camera presentations and stuff just in the background where you don't really need to watch what's going on. I kind of like that kind of stuff. So.
And if it's too short, I don't like it because then I have to click around and find something else. So this is not one of those too short videos.
Oh yeah, no, we're done. Bye. That's it.
That was it.
Most people's Q&A would maybe be over. So.
Right.
it.
Well, I mean, we do get a lot of questions, and I appreciate it. So should we get into them?
Let's get into it.
All right.
Let's get going.
So I'm not going to read the names. You know who you are if you submitted the question. There are some that are similar. There are some that are similar topics. Some are simpler topics. Some are not. Some are things that I will gracefully not cover.
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody need more explanation? Am I long-winded today? I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay, 18 hours ago, somebody said, do you take advantage of eBay offers for additional listings, percent savings in categories, etc.,
Etc.
etc.? Just want you to say etc. I don't know, do I say it funny? Etc.
Etc.
Excedrin.
Etc. Etc.
Etc. Etc. Etc. I didn't know if I said it like funny.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about questions. Okay, so if we have a 15 or a 20-minute video or a half-hour video, somebody will say something about the video, and I'll be like, I don't even remember what the heck I did in that video.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
So, and it was,
Well,
I guess it was, you know, funny or goofy, or I had a booger in my nose, or who knows what.
Gotta throw a timestamp up there.
Well,
Something.
sometimes people do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But there's a couple in here, I don't know if I left them in, probably not, where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Referencing the video. And
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
We do take advantage of some of the eBay offers and all that. For the most part, I probably get 100 emails a day
Mm-hmm.
that I have to scan through mentally, physically, visually. Some are orders, some are questions, some are some of my personal things that come in, billing statements, lots of junk mail, lots of messages from eBay that half of them aren't relevant. I don't want to read them, and some of them I unsubscribe to. So a couple of our eBay channels, we have 4 that we're operating right now, and I would say 2 of them are primary.
Mm-hmm.
We have either the second to the top or the top store available, and they change what's in the subscriptions for these stores. I don't even remember if it's an anchor store or one down, but basically they give us a gazillion listings included every month, and there are rarely times where we need to take advantage of the additional listings.
Yeah.
Now, 2 of our eBay stores, I don't believe we either don't have store subscriptions or it's minimal enough where if I do click on and take advantage of the listings for that, it does help.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are, free auctions, which we don't run a lot of auctions. Some of them are list in this category, and that doesn't really help us that much because it's not our category. Do we ever get I don't think we ever get a break in the camera category.
No.
Now, you don't see all those
No, I don't.
emails. A lot of those come to me, and, we have 4 eBay channels. I think I have like 7 or 8 emails that I monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, to me, it's all mind bending. There's just too much. But that's the way it works. So I guess the bottom line is I try to block out as much as I can, and I try to focus on what makes me the most money, best use of my time, what makes me the happiest, avoid the rest.
Yeah, we do send offers to people if they ask, hey, could you do better on this, and then we'll usually send them an offer or whatever, depending on.
Well, that's not exactly
conditions.
what they're
No, I know.
talking,
Saying,
but
so we do that.
But we do, yeah, we
do that.
we accept offers from prospective buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we do that.
Not exactly.
We'll send an offer through eBay for that. Otherwise, we don't do the
All right.
deal.
We're just getting warmed up here. We're going to start reading these fast and more rapid fire as we go on.
Is that usually how it goes?
Yeah. Where do you get all those models? Thrifting, yard sailing, curious. I rarely ever see models in my thrift stores. We have a lot of them in the Washington, D.C. area. I go every single day, sometimes twice a day. They never seem to show up. Well, there are places that have more models than others. The ones that we got, we stumbled on at the flea market here, out of state but local to us.
Mm-hmm.
Where else do we see models?
Garage sales, quite a few times. That's got to be one of the bigger other ones.
Yeah, garage sales, we've run into them. Occasionally you'll see them on a classified ad type situation.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say pawn shops will occasionally have them, but they're usually bigger and priced up a little bit. Definitely not a lot of thrift stores. I can see
We've
that.
also run into them at sort of a hodgepodge hobby store type situation once in a while. I'm usually buying them 1 or 2 or 5 at a time. We just happened to stumble on these, and the timing was right, and the deal was right. And I need all kinds of stuff for Kate to list. I want her to be getting some things, so I'm putting the pressure on her and I to really get together and get that stuff going. So we have run into big lots of a lot of different things over the years.
Yep.
Models are one of them. RC cars occasionally. Cameras, of course. I don't know what else. A little of everything.
Yeah, pretty much anything.
Anything.
Anything you think of.
Yeah. I'm new to
We buy it all.
eBay. Been selling for a month. When do you recommend an eBay store? Well, when I was looking at getting an eBay store, one of the things I wanted to do was to put things on sale occasionally, once a week, twice a week, once every 2 weeks. And a store allowed me to do that. That's one of the features I really liked. And so the next thing I did is I looked at their little graph on eBay, and I calculated how many listings I was going to have a month, and I calculated when it made sense to have the store. And now that's not as relevant, I guess, because everything is good till canceled.
Yeah.
So you're not relisting as many listings a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't even looked at that for a while. I may have to. So things change. You're going to have to do research and I guess read the fine print. But a lot of those things are like 30-day trials. A lot of them you can do them for a few months. If you don't use it or like it, you can get rid of it. In an online business, in a changing environment like we are, you can get overwhelmed by change, but you can't be afraid to change.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the changes that we make affect a lot of things. And so you make too many at one time and you'll go kind of crazy, kind of like moving this business.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that I had to keep in line, otherwise we're not running. And somehow we managed to keep the business completely running, even though we were a ways, a couple hours away from where our other house was. We kept it going and kept orders going out, and didn't get too many strikes for that.
Yeah, I was going to mention about that. I wasn't sure if you had kind of covered that before, but I knew there's some questions in there, possibly that.
Yeah.
Asking about that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Yeah, there are some questions about when we travel and things like that. When you move, there's a lot of expenses. You can plan for them all you want, but one thing I didn't want to do is stop cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Our business, just like any small business with people working in it that need a paycheck and things like that, the paychecks, everything keeps going. You got to keep the business going. You can't shut down for a couple weeks or a month. That would be detrimental.
So isn't the eBay store thing also kind of a volume-based thing? Like when you have more volume and the listings cost less when you have eBay store? I think those are probably my two things that I see as advantages if you have higher volume.
Well, yeah, when you have higher volume and you list more and things like that, they used to give a cut in the rate, and they used to give a cut on cost per listing. There's a lot of perks to do the store, and I haven't looked into it recently.
I see. Yeah.
But you have to, when you're starting out, you have to make that decision point to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a fairly low monthly cost on the first level, and I think the ability to put your items all on sale and stuff like that probably pays for it.
Are we still on Anchor Store, or are we on the smaller one now?
I think we might be on Anchor for Canning Guy,
Okay.
and then I can't remember if we are for the other ones.
I knew we were at some point. I wasn't sure if it came off there or not.
No,
It was all on there.
yeah, and I don't get bent out of shape on all that stuff. I really, for how I think people's general perception is I'm pretty easygoing in a sense, or maybe I look reasonably comfortable in this business or whatever, but it's only because I block out so much. I have this ability to monitor and take everything in, like a microphone is on. What's that kind of microphone that takes in everything?
I don't know. There's surround.
There's
surround,
directional
yeah.
microphones, and there's ones. I take it all in, and I almost have to use half my energy blocking everything out, but then that allows me to focus. So I don't know how to explain it any other way than that, but most of the time in my life there's way too much going on. Now, it is very easy for me to get overwhelmed when things align. Too many things are going on. I'm like, whoa, and I have been hitting that too often lately. I lived in Olathe, Kansas for a year, had a job where I drove all over Kansas and Oklahoma in a beat-up pickup truck with a deep freezer on the back, selling frozen meat door to door. I would not recommend this job. Anyway, my point is the weather in your part of the country is terrifying.
I agree.
Yeah,
we don't get a lot of like calm little gentle rains. It's either all crazy or nice and normal.
We have gotten seasoned in the weather here in the last 13 years being out in northwest Kansas. Quick story, I did do Schwann's home delivery for a year when we first moved here 13 years ago. And I was used to pavement, and most of my deliveries are in the country where it's either mud roads, no roads, some gravel, some mixed, some cornfields. That took a while getting used to. The other thing that's tough out here is the GPS does not work all the time. And of course 12 years ago GPS was sort of just coming into its own. It wasn't as good as it is now. And then the other thing is you would drive out into the country and you could be 20 minutes from hard pavement. And then a storm, you would see it coming in, and then I got caught one time on this hill, and I saw the storm coming, and I knew if I'd go down that hill I probably would be there overnight. And so I waited at the top of the hill. This hail and rain and crap came in, and the truck is super heavy. The truck actually started to slide slowly, like a slow-moving glacier, towards off the road when it got wet. It was that muddy. The whole thing underneath me turned to mud, and I slid probably a foot while this storm came over for 15 minutes. Then I waited another 2 hours for it to dry off. Then I went down the hill.
Yeah, the dirt around here is super buttery.
Oh, it's like, yeah, it's like butter.
Say.
And I don't know what a Schwann's truck weighs, but I got it stuck once in the winter in the ditch. That's a whole nother story, but yeah, there's
We've been out towards Kansas City there twice within the last little while, and both times we had crazy storms coming back.
well, yeah, and
So it's kind of odd too.
and the water comes so
That side
fast
there.
that even on the freeway you got to pay attention or you'll hydroplane.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty crazy in the van.
There's some crazy puddles and stuff on the freeway there coming out of Kansas City.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
A lot of standing water.
And that's that's in population. There's crazier things out here in northwest Kansas. You got to watch out for cows
Oh yeah.
and other wildlife.
More people are killed by cows every year than sharks.
Yeah, we haven't seen any sharks. How many items do you have listed? Close to 3,000. Do you use the promoted listing upgrade thing on your listings? I have checked it on a few high-priced items on my miscellaneous channel just to try it out. I cannot tell if it worked or not. So yes, I've tried it. No, I don't use it on everything. How long does it take for you to create a listing, research the item, create the description, photograph, figure shipping cost, and list? Well, it varies.
Definitely varies.
It's not really price related, it's item related. Some things need to be cleaned up, some things need to be tested, some things are harder to research. In general, I think 10 minutes or less total.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, 3 to 5 minutes for a listing for me, and then obviously the cleaning really can take longer. But for the most part, I mean, then it's 10 seconds for a photo, and I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
For about 10 minutes.
I like listing. I haven't been able to do enough for a while there. I had Kate doing most of the pictures for me, which actually makes it a lot easier. I have some items that come in that I just take care of because they're oddball or obscure or things that I do, and so I've got those pretty streamlined. Depending on what you have, you've experimented with big batch, small batch,
Oh, yeah.
one at a time. It all varies, but I would say we get fairly unique items from one another. So there might be 2, 3, 4, 5 similar items, and then we're on to something else. You've done some bigger batch things with cameras. There's a fine line between getting bored and speed. So I don't really concentrate personally on how long it takes, and if I'm not having fun, I'm not having fun.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally I'll research something for 40 minutes, and I'll do all kinds of different stuff every now and then.
We
Find
try
the
to
right
list. We try to either like the things we list, or list the things we like. So
If you do both of those, then you got it going.
Yeah, but if you hate the stuff you're working with, or if you're listing something that just doesn't interest you, and you got a million of them, that reminds me too much of the days where I used to work factory work and dig ditches and pack orders for Land's End or something like that, where it basically was a cyclical thing. Every half hour or 20 minutes you went through this cycle, and by the end of that, you're just sort of like a robot.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to be like that. So we try to have some fun with that. We don't really bust it down. There are times when we jam through listings in a day and we get a whole bunch done, and there's other times where I meander. And we try to list either items with enough markup in them, or just it's still enough markup but higher end items where it's worth it, where you're you're not worried about making $3 an hour and then like working twice as hard to make $6 an hour. That doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah.
We're trying to do, no matter how hard we work, we're making $10, $20, $50 an hour, something like that.
Yeah.
So for us, it's about working smarter, not necessarily harder.
Yep.
And we keep farming stuff out. We're continually trying to bring new people in the family in the business, and so new people get the more repetitive stuff for the most part. Yes?
Yep.
Except Wheeler, we just keep giving you better stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the less desirable camera stuff goes on down the line to get lotted up or listed by somebody newer in the business, or if I'm doing it, I just make aggressive decisions on it, and some of it gets thrown out, most of it gets lotted up, and then I've learned a lot about that stuff too. Thinking of tornadoes, floods, etc., do you have your inventory insured, and what value do you use, cost of goods or current market eBay value? Well, when we had a commercial location, I did have the inventory insured. At this point, I do not, and it was insured at current cost. It was a cost insurance. We have our inventory sort of split up right now, so I feel more comfortable with that. We are also, or somebody is in our business or home virtually 99% of the time, and we take some safeguards with turning water off in the house on trips, and security systems and things like that. Could we have a catastrophic loss? Absolutely. We would find a way to rebound from it. It's the insurance that we had wasn't super expensive. It was like $1,000 a year. They like a lot of those things. They like it for commercial locations. Once you get into the picking business and want to get some insurance, they try to ask you all these questions like, are you an antique dealer? Do you restore things? Do you use lacquer thinner? Da 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 da. They try to categorize you, and it's hard for them to do that. So I'm certainly not an insurance advisor, but that's what we did. Do we want to stop this and start it over?
Yeah, might as well just double check.
How far does it go?
It should just go indefinitely, but it's probably safer to have it a couple of chunks just in case it decides to quit on you randomly.
All right, let's do that.
I'm always worried about that. You never know. I always like to stop it every now and then just to make sure it's not going to quit on you randomly and you're like 2 hours in.
Yeah, I don't.
Just
I
never
don't know how that.
It doesn't have a limit, but it goes to your storage as full as
I don't know how that works.
There's a chance it might lose it.
The whole insurance thing, I probably need to look at that again sometimes. You can insure yourself to death. Some insurance is okay, but if you bought every insurance out there, you'd also go broke. So it's always a give or take.
Saw a nice crouton there, whatever you're calling them before.
Crouton?
I like the next comment.
Oh yeah, so here's a good one. So I did a video where I put the flag, the United States flag, out there for a while, and I talked a little bit about Memorial Day, and I got a comment, "Okay, Captain America, enough with the Yankee Doodle Dandy lecture."
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Talk about a globalist.
Yeah.
Talk about a, what would you call it?
I'm just a troll.
Gotta be careful, but yeah, wow,
Yeah.
Yankee Doodle Dandy lecture.
Captain America, here he is.
Yeah,
The real Captain America.
yeah. Recently watched your video from 11 months ago where you explained your items on sale strategy. Crazy Picker Life 294, hey, security challenge. Can you explain your strategy now, please? Well, I like to put stuff on sale.
Mm-hmm.
I think things have changed with this good till listed thing,
Mm-hmm.
where it used to be you would run an item for 10 days or 30 days and then relist it. And for some reason, you would get a little priority in the search results, I felt, when it got to the end, like when there's only a day left and then there's 12 hours left and then your item's ending. And then when you relisted that item, I feel also it was a new item, so it would show up more on people's search results for items. Putting items on sale, I think does a couple of things. I think when something's on sale, I think you get a little bump in search results. I also think that you get people a little more interested if they've been watching your item and now it's on sale, or if they search up your item and they see it's going to be on sale for a couple days, they might say to themselves, I'm going to be gone in a couple days, I better buy this.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might make you a little more competitive compared to other people. We tend to price our items towards the top of the market, and when they go on sale, we've got good feedback and all that kind of stuff. When it goes on sale, it puts us in a pretty solid group of standard merchandise out there, standard vendors. And so I think it does give us a bump in sales. I think it just sort of shakes up the algorithm a little bit too, and it puts you in the groove.
Mm-hmm.
Have I studied it? Do I look at it? It's more of a feeling than anything else. So my strategy is once or twice a week I put things on sale. Now, camera-wise, we just came out of the busy period for us.
Mm-hmm.
We sell the most camera stuff probably January, February, March, and into April. And I need to start running more sales now again. I didn't put things on sale as much during that time period. And when we were moving, I didn't put things on sale much during that time period because we had all we could do just to get the orders we got out. And so I don't know if that's a strategy, but I do put things on sale.
Yep, that and the repricing deal. So like the two things.
I haven't done the repricing for probably 60 days.
Okay.
I don't know when they went to this good till listed thing, but I used to reprice everything 5% down or even more aggressive on certain things every 30 days. And I used to do it on the camera stuff every 10 days.
Yeah.
And then I started to do it every 30 days. I probably need to go through and do that. There's a way to do that. I've been watching this good till listed. It automatically relists every 30 days, and so you can still tell sort of where stuff is in the cycle.
Exactly.
How long it's been on there.
It's the same as good till canceled before they made mandatory.
Yeah, and we never used it though.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you've used it all along, it's nothing new. I need to get in there. There's more information in there than I know how to use, and I try to block a lot of that out. There's people out there that utilize a lot of those tools and a lot of those things much better than we do.
Yep.
So I'm definitely not super strategized. So on the camera channel, we put things at 11% off for whatever reason. My general channel, I go 13%. Watches, we do still list some watches, but we pretty much blew all those out at even 50% off a while back.
Yep.
And then we have another channel that's lots of camera stuff that doesn't have a lot on it right now, but when it did, I was aggressively discounting items every 30 days on there to try to blow stuff out, and that worked pretty well. We were selling pretty good items on there as well. My question, you pick very well, have lots of knowledge, negotiation skills, and the drive to locate items. Do you see yourself opening a buy, sell, trade with you and your boys and allow opportunity to come to you so that you can enjoy more life? Thanks for all your videos and information. Well, so that's an interesting question because I have run a retail business before and sort of been tied to a retail business before, and although you can be flexible, in that particular situation, I was the manager, business manager of a 15-employee business, and I would end up having to work the Saturdays way more often than I wanted to, because other people would want to be off.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was a nice enough manager to try to accommodate some of that. Messages coming through.
Yeah.
And so I didn't like the idea of being tied to a retail location. It made vacations a little tougher, all those things. So the way that we do things right now, even though we work odd hours, even though we work on many holidays that are everybody else is off, we work a lot of Saturdays, we travel a lot, very, very flexible. We can choose to do it or not choose to do it. I don't necessarily have to get up every morning at a certain time and show up in the office.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure the pros of that would outweigh the cons. Now, could I have my children, my business associates run the shop? Yes, I do see certain models out there that I like. Craigslist Hunter has a nice funnel because of his store. He's developed that over many years and trial and error, I'm sure, and all that. There are other pawn stores and shops that I've visited where they get a lot of stuff in. The other side of it, Wheeler, is we probably enjoy the picking and the traveling as much as any part of this business.
Oh yeah.
So
Definitely.
it's actually, if we cut that out.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah, when we started, we actually would order big lots of things from eBay
Mm-hmm.
and then resell them, so we wouldn't travel.
We'd look for all the camera collections and camera lots and that type of stuff.
We would make estimates and price things out that we could see.
Yep.
And then we would make a calculated bid on it, and we'd bid snipe it, we'd either get it or we didn't get it.
Yep. Very much. The less I could see in the pictures, the better for us. Because I really was good at like picking the little pixels out and figuring out what heck stuff was. That's kind of fun.
So we had lots of packages
Good deal.
come in, and I think at the time that was necessity because I had 2 children. Samuel and Elizabeth were born pretty much 1 year apart, and they're 8 and 7 now. They were very, very young, and traveling was very tough.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can take nobody with us. We can take everybody with us. We have babysitters. We have basically adults in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're kind of spoiled that way compared to how it used to be. But the traveling is part of the fun.
Yep.
Would you agree?
I agree.
So I don't think we'll open a store. We can sell most of our stuff online, and what we can't sell online, we either sell locally or bring to somebody or throw out or whatever. We don't buy storage units. We don't buy estates typically. When we do buy stuff that we have to throw out, we're not against throwing stuff out and keeping the best stuff.
Yep.
And we build that into our pricing. So probably not. But enjoy more life. I mean, what's more fun than being on the road?
Mm-hmm.
It does get old.
Yeah.
And then you take a break from it. And then when you yearn to do it again or when you need stuff, off you go.
There you go.
Right now, to give you an idea, if we didn't want to leave the house
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't want to go picking, we could probably live off the back stock in the business right here for 3 months.
3 months. What do you mean live off the...
The stuff that's not listed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at least. Not more than that. That's what I'm saying. That seems kind of short.
Come on, get on it.
Yeah.
Well, I could be out of my stuff in a month.
Yeah.
If I wanted to be, then I'd have to start listing your best stuff.
Mm-hmm. I got a bit of back stock.
Yeah. Hello, have been watching your videos for a long time. Question, would you guys ever consider doing a storage auction video? If not, what would you say is the riskiest buy that you have made? profit on and one you didn't? Thanks for answering these questions. Well, we haven't done a lot of storage auctions, and I guess part of it is because we would have to travel to them, and then you've got the problem with what do you do with all the stuff that you can't take home.
Mm-hmm.
You can rent a box truck or a U-Haul and build that into your cost. It gets kind of costly. We did do a couple, and between dump runs and not knowing what we were doing, we probably broke even on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to do them because it's a treasure hunting type thing. We also do not have a great system set up to sell the online stuff, then the stuff that you would have to sell onesie, twosie, $1, $2, $3, and then the big items like furniture and things like that. We just don't have all those things set up. So it would be more of a systematic new adventure. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
We
have so much other fun that we can do with other picking stuff. The storage unit thing, maybe in the future, but right now it's not.
Yeah.
It's not meshing.
I mean, it's just like if you're a runner, to get out and bike sounds pretty good. To get out and swim sounds pretty good. To go bowling sounds pretty good. But if you're at the top of your game as a runner, those other things can be fun, but they're more diversions if you want to be your best.
Yeah.
And right now, the best we can be is doing what we're doing. And if that changes or something like that, then we'll morph into something else.
Yep.
If needed. But I can't see that would change much. But what would you say is your riskiest buy that you've made a profit on and one you didn't?
Well, I've traveled quite a bit for some sort of blind lead, blind score things before, but...
Yeah. I mean, we've traveled 20 some hours to pick up those air purifiers.
Mm-hmm.
Sight unseen, we knew they were there or hoped they were there, but I bought these ROM 4-minute workout things. They look like a bicycle and a treadmill and a weight machine all hooked in one, and they're like 10 or 12 feet long. And I bought a couple of those sight unseen on like a Craigslist ad, and then sent money to somebody I had never met and had them ship this thing to me. And I'll tell you what, that's a little risky, but I made a couple $1,000s on 2 of them. We had to crate them up, and then they're really hard to put back on a truck and ship out to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
These things were like $15,000 retail.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were some don't wanters that would get rid of them for $3,000 or $4,000, and then you could bring them in and make sure they work and all that, and sell them for $6,000 or $7,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a discrepancy in there. I tried it a couple of times, and then the biggest problem I ran into with that is if you needed parts, the guy that was selling these things didn't want any unauthorized dealers.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of a turkey to deal with. I tried to talk to him on the phone a couple times, and he just didn't want people representing him that weren't factory trained or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of a weird thing. So we just did that a couple times. So that was sort of risky. Made some money on that. One I didn't. I don't know.
I couldn't think of many.
There's not many things that we haven't broke even.
I mean, if we take a trip, we go to, let's say, 100 different stops, and we just keep picking until we find something. So there's really not a lot of things where we can't find anything. I mean, even if we don't hit the thing that we went there for, we find something else.
I think the things that I lose money most on is lost items in shipping or broken items in shipping. I've had a few things that I've paid a few $100s get damaged in shipping, and it came down to, no matter what, it was my fault that it didn't make it there. I didn't have a case with UPS. It's hard sometimes to win a case. They're pretty rough on stuff. And so I was out the shipping and I was out the item.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably the biggest heartbreakers for me.
Yeah.
One of the Olympia signs that just went out, the pool signs, got damaged in shipping this last week. and the corner got broke off, and it made me mad enough where I'm going to open a case on it. I don't know if we'll win or not. I don't. There's a lot of paperwork, and it's a pain in the butt. And they want you to, of course, pack things so that their truck can run over it and it still survives.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But those are the biggest heartbreakers. Now,
yeah.
I have $10 in the sign, and I've got $50 cost to ship it to this person. So I would be out time plus $60. It's not that big a deal. But then on the other side of that, I should have made $200. So that's opportunity cost. So those kind of things kind of piss me off.
Yep.
Thor or Captain America? Well, I've already been called Captain America.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not much into all that stuff. Don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Thor's hammer that you can lift this big, crazy, heavy thing. Like people recreate it and all that. But I don't know. I'm not into any of that stuff.
Well, there was somebody that made a sort of cartoon meme of Alex Jones with a hammer beating CNN and beating a whole bunch of things. That's to me, that's
like a combination of the two. Then
he probably was a combination of the two. I can't think of the video, but I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still sell watches and belt buckles? Thanks. Yes.
Bought 2 today.
We bought 2 watches today, and we bought a few the other day too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 2 today and 2 yesterday.
Yeah.
So, what did we spend on watches yesterday and today for those 4 or 5 watches?
I don't even
know.
$5? $3? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and
cheap.
the return on that, if you can pick out the right ones and do some battery switching, which takes a knack and a few tools, $3, $4, or $5. Probably sell those for
average at 80 each.
Couple $100.
Yeah, 80 each.
So yeah, what's the downside of watches?
There's a lot of downsides to watches. Mainly, they just are super time suck once you really get into them. To list a watch probably takes 30 minutes on average, just because of the unexpected. I don't know. It's just it's more complicated than cameras in a lot of ways.
Buyers of watches are in different groups, just like buyers of cameras or anything else. But for the most part, people want their watches to keep time. They want them to look good. They want to be able to read them. They want a lot. They got a lot of choices for watches out there. So you really, they call those people watchmakers and jewelers for a reason.
There's a reason there's watches like over $100,000 and up.
So it's a
different market.
You really, you can sell them as is, or you can sell them in lots, or you can sell them crappy. But if you want to make premium dollar, there's a lot of steps to go through.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that I kind of forgot about is that cameras is just such a good market that we just can't. It's not worth it to do watches. We could do watches full time. We could make a good living at it. It would be a different type of business, but we have all this camera stuff, so it's just not. We've put it to the back burner for now, and we'll keep it as a little niche, whatever, for a while.
At this point, you're buying watches that we get cheap and that are really good.
Exactly, yeah. Find a Rolex or something, you probably buy that.
Belt buckles, kind of I buy a whole bunch of belt buckles. We still have a few hundred listed. I'm buying those all the time. They're really good bread and butter money. I mean, I've bought belt buckles for $1 or $2 that have sold for $200. We sell buckles all the time that are $20 or more, and we're generally paying $5 or less. I will pay a little more for certain ones that I feel are hot topics and things like that, but $1, $2, $3, $4. There's a lot of belt buckles out here for whatever reason. There's a lot of farmers, a lot of cowboys, things like that.
Yep.
A lot of motorcycle riders, all the people that wear belts and belt buckles. So we do sell those. I would buy them all day long if I could run into them.
Yep.
Definitely buying and selling a couple hundred a year. Okay. Why did you take down the $1 to $50K videos? Would be funny to rewatch. Maybe a best of compilation. I've had a love-hate with YouTube over the years for a number of reasons.
Yep.
But making videos is energy. It's one of those things. It's kind of like running for me.
Mm-hmm.
Running takes energy, but it can also inspire your energy level, or it's one of those things that it's a give and take. And YouTube's the same thing. And so we put a lot of energy into these videos. We get certain things out of them. Ups and downs. I'm a person of extremes, ups and downs. And so we do videos for a while, then we don't. I get fed up and I take them down. Whatever. I'm a perfectionist too.
Yeah.
So one of my things that I've had to do over the years is step way back from perfection because I'm not, I can't reach perfection, even though at heart I've been trained as a perfectionist and I try to be a perfectionist. So if I don't make something that I like on YouTube, sometimes I'm like, eh. So the $1 to 50K things were a lot of fun, but it turned into such a distraction from our business that it almost shut our business down.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, well, I definitely had the potential. The way we were going about it, season 2 or whatever it was, that was kind of crazy.
Well, it had several interesting components where we had to leave the money in the inventory, and then we started spending so much time with that we didn't list our other stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And would I put those videos up again? I think I have many of them on my main computer because I found them the other day again. Mm-hmm. I think some of them are lost.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to pull some of those up.
Oh, absolutely.
Editing is not my favorite thing to do for videos. Could I have somebody else in the house edit my videos? Yeah, but even the big YouTubers and things like that have a hard time letting go of the editing because you want to be represented the way you want to be represented.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's part of your expression and whatever if you do.
And if you haven't ever made videos, there is a lot of editing that goes even to the simplest videos. I mean, when you're on camera, you can sneeze, you can cough, all kinds of stuff can happen. And you have to choose if you want that in there or not. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're pretty easy going on all that stuff.
Yep.
But if you're worried about your hair being out of place, which I'm not necessarily, but you got to watch your videos.
Yeah.
And you got to listen to what you say.
Mm-hmm.
And in today's world, you really got to listen to what you say. And there's some things that we don't necessarily want to throw out there all the time, like where do you live, and when are you home, and hey, what's your checkbook number? I mean, you got to really watch what's in the background and everything. Mm-hmm. So it's a love-hate. Mm-hmm. Anything else on that?
At one point, you just axed them, so they're off YouTube. But
well, yeah,
have them somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, and it's really no more complicated than just sometimes I'm moody. Mm-hmm. You're not moody ever?
Nah.
You're not moody, all you people out there watching, are you ever? If everybody made videos, everybody would understand. Thank you, as always, for your great videos. I noticed there are many listings of food on eBay, example crisps, and thought, great. It's always in stock and so easy to find, you don't even need to have a store. Are there any rules and conditions to sell food to any country? It's scary when you watch all the customs films. I'm confused on how you can just ship out food, plants, etc. Well, I don't know. I don't think we've ever sold food. Some countries I have seen that. I don't think the U.S., I don't think you can sell a lot of food.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I'm curious to know where this guy is from because I know in the U.K., I've been on like some of the U.K. and some of the other sites and literally front page, it's all food and I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how widespread that is in the U.S.
Well, there are all kinds of laws and marketing channels and license agreements, and things change, and different countries have different postal things. And so I always look to see if there's a track record. We ran into something today where we were looking at buying a rather large new old stock or new in box Star Wars collection. And this lady, her son collected the stuff, and she kind of did it along with him for years and years. This dude's mom, and she made these Star Wars quilts, and they're beautiful quilts. She made them with all the scenes from the 80s and the 90s movies, all that. And so we were wondering, as we were going over there, if we could resell these quilts on eBay, because they have, you know, like Star Wars obviously is licensed, and now it's owned by Disney, and Disney's all about their licensing and who can sell their stuff and who can make their merchandise, and on and on and on. It's a bazillion-dollar market. And so we always look for a track record. If there's a track record, you can sell it. If you make a mistake, you examine what happened, and you either sell it or you don't sell it. We have had a few things slapped out of our hands over the years, like railroad items, police stuff, mail stuff. Certain things you cannot sell. Food we haven't really been into. Now, I've bought and sold vitamins occasionally and supplements occasionally, and they more and more fall under food and or drug laws. Test strips have a whole bunch of gray areas and a whole bunch of laws, and so you really do have to watch that. But I would do one of two things. I'd look for a track record, and I would pay attention when bad stuff happens so you don't do it again.
Yep. I mean, obviously people are selling food online. You can order it through the mail, like Omaha Steaks and a lot of these cooking places. So I mean, people do it. People do the food thing. I'm not sure if eBay in the U.S. is.
We order beer.
Place,
I have
though.
a beer club. I'm in a beer club.
Yeah.
And they send bottles of beer, and you got to be 21 to sign for it, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. But
they'll ship it.
Yeah, they'll ship
pretty much anything. So it's not lithium.
Well, and then on the other side, you know, you mentioned like crisps and things like that. Occasionally, now people on Amazon sell all kinds of food things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That whole market is continually changing, and that a lot of things like that, the retail arbitrage, you're dealing with a lot of units and a smaller margin. And so we do some of that kind of stuff where you buy 100 of an item and you're making $1.50 on each, but it's so easy to list, and you just bam, 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 sell the same thing. And so you got your packaging all figured out, you got your streamline all figured out. But for the most part, our items are onesie twosies, and we're looking for $20 and up profit per item.
Yeah, you know what I like even more than that is like the little camera pieces that are hard to find but super desirable that we can buy for pretty much nothing, and we can get in bulk occasionally, and then we sell them for like 15 or 20 each. I have one piece I'm thinking of like that.
Yeah.
So there's certain things like that are a lot more appealing than.
We have had some things like that we've had like 30 of them.
Yeah, and we're making, I don't know, $10 each.
$10 each.
Everything.
And they just, you know, easy to list, and it just bam, 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 bam. They sell a couple a week.
And we were selling for up to like 33 at some point, and then somebody reproduced them and whatever.
Right. So even those markets change. So the easier something is to do, the easier to barrier of entry. In other words, if anybody can go buy it and anybody can sell it, it's probably not going to be, you're not going to have a competitive advantage to sell it for long. So if you're going to the grocery store and you're able to buy Skippy peanut butter, and anybody else can do that, and then you try to sell it for a few cents less than everybody online, pretty soon somebody's going to figure out how to do that same thing and take that away from you.
Yep.
But if you go out and buy 600 models from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and your competitive advantage is you have 200 models, $600. Your advantage is every time you list a model, there's only a couple other people that have that one out there. So
Exactly.
So you just price it, and if they want to lower their price, you wait a little bit. If not, you sell it.
It's the exact same, and even better in some cases with cameras. That's why I like that stuff.
There's a lot of good things.
Yep.
Have you noticed any of your sold listings end back up on your active listings page? I noticed this the other day. I had 1,800 listings. I had 25 to 30 which had recently sold back on my active listings. I was just wondering if you had run into this problem. Thanks for your time. Well, the good till canceled thing, as well as all kinds of changes that eBay is always making, I haven't noticed that specific one. We certainly have been making some changes in the way that our inventory is run recently, with the bin system and all that. So we've been having some trouble finding some things and getting things in the right slot and finishing up our transition. So we've been having some internal problems. But one thing that I do notice is when I get a returned item, somebody doesn't like their item and they send it back, when I refund their money, there's a button there that it's automatically pressed. If you don't press it, it will refund and automatically relist the item. And that is outside of our process, because what we like to do is put that returned item in a bin, and then when we get enough of them in the bin, then we process the returns and check them over closer and make any changes to the listing and then relist it.
Yep.
So we ended up double listing a few items that way.
Yep.
There's always little holes in the system like that. And another one that happened recently that I really didn't like is switching between PayPal accounts. If I transfer $1,000 from one PayPal account to another, the default was put on this is a business transaction. And so I didn't notice that I charged $1,000 from one account to another so I could get it to my checking account. I did this for like a whole month until I realized it, and it was taking a percentage out of there like it was a transaction every time. And then I called and I'm like, why did you change the default on there? It's supposed to be friend to friend. It's my own account.
Yeah, they did change that.
Yeah, and they changed it back now. But so I had to go back and actually refund each of those $1,000, then run it back again as a friend, and then it did it. But it was a few $100s.
Yeah.
So there's always these little buttons that are checked, and eBay has periods where they have the bold for $2 checked on there.
I had a whole rant
and
on that.
all kinds of different things like that. So you always got to kind of be paying attention. It's like when you're driving down the road, don't be texting, be watching for the so I don't know about that one, but
I was also thinking like the multiple listing thing, like if you have multiple available or whatever, that can sometimes be screwy when it ends.
Well, that thing,
that's the only other thing
we've never trusted that thing,
No.
because it's always got some
hiccups and weird
hiccups.
stuff.
There's always hiccups. And so it doesn't surprise me, but I haven't necessarily, we wonder sometimes how things are listed.
Yeah.
Because we can't find them. And then you look and they've been sold.
Yep.
So
we have seen that maybe.
Maybe. One more question, and I guess I'm doing these in reverse order here. Do you try to be overly friendly with sources or straight to the point? Well,
Play the game in multiple ways.
I'm a win-win guy. I'm a personable guy. I try to listen to people. I try to talk to people. I'm there to buy stuff, but I hate fakeness. So there's nothing about me that's fake.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely interested in having a win-win transaction, and I don't know for sure, but my sense is when I'm talking with somebody in a business situation, I usually get a person's attention, and they usually like the transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I work hard on being the type of person that's fun to transact with, win-win. I don't want them to feel like they just got serped up.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people come to me and sell me stuff before, and I knew they were taking me through a sales process, but I liked it because they did it in a way that was good for both of us. And at the end of it, I'm like, hey, you're a professional. That was all right. I know that you complimented me on my shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and you probably didn't mean it and whatever. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I mean, we play some games, good cop, bad cop, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the win-win, that's basically what it is. I mean, I'm a very friendly person. Not
Yeah.
going to be unfriendly with anybody. So.
Yeah, I don't think, I think the biggest thing, I'm there for a reason, yet I'm not fake. It's win-win. I'm always respectful of people.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, I mean, I don't let people mess with me very much.
Mm-hmm.
If people start to mess with me or disrespect me, I can get a little bit hot. I can get a little bit, I still keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
But I typically will defuse any weird situation.
Yeah.
And I do have to say I like to get people off balance a little bit, but I do it in a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just warms up the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely not, I wouldn't be known as a robot.
Yeah. Hello, we are here to buy your cameras. Beeper, beeper.
But I don't think overly friendly really would be it, or overly interested, or overly syrupy. I don't just throw out compliments left and right. I don't like open my wallet and show big fat stacks of cash, or I don't get all huggy,
Mm-hmm.
or start petting their dog like crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty natural.
Mm-hmm.
Due to the amount of resellers where I live, I'm trying to get the wife to move somewhere else. We tried traveling to buy, but the wife has no interest in the business. Any thoughts? Well, you got to go to fishing ponds where there's fish.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure out how to do that. And if you want to go to fishing ponds and get fish, you better take fisher people with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to go fishing with people that don't want to go fishing, right?
Yeah.
So things can change. Maybe you can compromise. We did things with my wife that she likes to do on trips, and we balanced them with things she didn't like to do, like picking. Sometimes we would drop her off with some of the children, and we'd go picking, or vice versa. She would drop us off. Strangely, Lon and I do some rummage sailing together now, which is something we really never did in the past, mainly because we'd always have the kids along. So we do it sometimes together now, and it's really, that's only happened this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that. And there's usually enough to look at where she looks at stuff, I look at stuff. She actually brings me stuff. Is this what you want? Is this what you want? It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So it can change.
Mm-hmm.
It can change. And I think one thing that will cure all problems is success. When you start making money in a business like this, and you can afford to take some trips or buy some things or whatever, that helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you're struggling and every step is like, it has to be calculated because you got two nickels to rub together, and I'm not saying that that's the situation that you're talking about here, but that can be tough. That can be more stressful. And the number one thing that couples fight about is money. So if you can get the money ironed out a little bit, that helps.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what more to say about that one. Love your videos. Trying to get a handle on how regional rate boxes go. Very confusing. I agree. USPS regional boxes. I looked at it when it first came out, or when they had it, and I haven't looked at it since.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
So if you get it figured out, explain it to me.
Yeah.
Question. Wheeler, what is your long-term plan? Are you going to open a store? Do you plan on picking forever? Also explain your new hairdo. Is it a phase? Haven't seen a scooter video recently, and I enjoyed watching them.
Yeah, well, I don't know, long-term plan. It's pretty crazy. Probably got to keep picking for a while. I mean, that's my main source of income right now, and of course you can always have backups, but...
Are you going to open a store?
No, probably not. I think what we're doing right now is working out.
How about your hairdo?
I don't know.
Is it a phase?
Nah, well, I think for the first while there, I don't know, up until the age of 15, 16, 17, or whatever, Mom always cut my hair every single time. The second it got a little bit long, it's like you could pull it, it was time to cut it. So
right.
I was like, so now I got in like the phase where I was like actually going to get haircuts for a while, and then I don't know when I fell off that, but it's just grown out now, and I'm in control, I guess.
Yeah.
Taking over control of what I can do with it.
You're making your own choices.
So I don't know. I'll probably keep it for a while. I don't know what the deal with it is. I don't put much thought into it. I'm just going about my life.
Roll with it.
Exactly.
Kind of like this, huh? What if you had one of these?
Can't do it, but I'll try it.
Yeah, if
I
it
could,
grew in.
Yeah.
By the way, this is supposed to go away, but part of my manicuring tools were in the other house, so I couldn't do it as I had threatened.
Yeah, and also scootering stuff. We have a skate park in town, so I'll probably film some new videos sometime. I don't post a lot on that anymore. I'm still fairly decent, but I'm pretty out of shape, so I don't know.
Dealer, do you post wanted ads locally and online to source stock? I used to, and I don't anymore. I used to buy diabetic test strips, and I had ads, classified ads in like 10 or more states in like 20 or 30 different newspapers. And I changed from doing that business as that got more competitive. I changed from doing that to general merchandise and camera gear.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really pushed the camera thing because there's just so much available.
Exactly. We're already swamped as is.
Any tips on networking and developing relationships with sources? Thank you. Yeah, so I would say repetition and buy stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So let's say you're going to the flea market, and the vendors there, a lot of them are the same old vendors week after week after week. And so I am very cordial with them. I ask questions, I ask pricing, I compliment their items if I like them. If I say how much and they say $40 and I don't want to pay $40, I wanted to pay $20, I won't say anything gruff. I'll say, yeah, I think you're about right there. You'll get that. And I'll set it down. I probably know, and know is kind of a loose thing. I have some vendors at the flea market that really know me, and we don't know each other's names very much, but we talk a lot. I probably know 20 or 30 of them.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that sort of mutual respect because we buy a lot of stuff.
Yep.
When you buy something from them, guaranteed they'll remember you. And you'll get better relationships and better pricing the next time.
Yep.
In a lot of cases. Buying stuff always makes everything cheaper. Now, you don't want to buy crap, but if you buy something, you've got their attention. Same with an antique store or a store type situation, or like when we go on these 200-mile garage sales, we don't remember the people very often. Sometimes I remember the houses more than the people.
Yeah.
But the people remember us. I'm not exactly sure why that is.
Yeah.
We're fun to deal with, I guess, is probably why. And, you know, we're always looking for cameras and things like that. So repetition and buying stuff and just being conversational like. Realize that that person is in business and needing to sell stuff. Get inside their shoes, talk about whatever they want to talk about a little bit, hear them out, listen to their stories, exchange a few stories with them, be real, be authentic, go see them.
Yep. A lot to be said for breaking the ice, like when you actually enter their booth, trying to find something to buy to start off the deal.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's partially just a negotiation deal and buying a bunch of stuff deal, but it works for the relationship and all that. And then, of course, the repetition, telling them, hey, we'll be back on next week or the week after that, and then they'll know, and that whole thing. I mean, just getting the whole thing going.
Yeah, and it really helps when you're in the business enough, because I mean, on any given trip anywhere, we can buy 100 items, and so we're doing business and building relationships with people whether they like it or not. So I mean, it just happens naturally for us. I don't know how else
it really does.
Do you deal with radioactive camera lenses, and are they safe to take apart and clean?
We definitely do, and the thing is, I don't think I know every single one that is radioactive, so I'm sure we have some that come through that are more than I would think. But anyway, do you deal with, or are they safe to take apart and clean? I really don't take apart any lenses. I mean, the older ones, the ones from pre-1930, I'll take those apart and clean them occasionally, but those aren't radioactive. I think most of the radioactive ones was a certain type of element they started putting in lenses in the late 40s all the way up until the 80s or something. And there are some that are seriously radioactive, which I'm sure we get some through and whatever. There's just one that we get a lot of that turns yellow over time just because of the radioactivity coating, something in that. So I don't know. I wouldn't worry about too much.
Give us a pause here.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about it too much, but I guess you could get your Geiger counter out and usually test from the rear element. You can tell.
Yeah, and safety is such a. I mean, we can't tell you that it's safe or not. Radiation isn't safe, but
there are some unsafe camera lenses, and then there's a lot that have low levels of radiation.
It's all around you anyway.
Yeah, there's very few that are seriously radioactive. There's some Russian ones and whatever. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, you're still kicking, right?
Oh yeah, I'm still good. I mean, I would like tie them to your eyeballs, like 10 of them, and wear that around 24/7. Yeah. That's just me.
I'll tell you what's worse than those is that box.
Oh yeah, the mold is a lot worse. Seriously.
The mold and the fungus and things like that.
I haven't grown the third arm yet, so I guess we're good.
Dealer, since most of your family is involved in the business, how do you try to balance their work responsibilities with their social life, play, and downtime with friends their own age? Well, one of the things that we have is a lot of different family events. All of us sort of do stuff together, so we have our own fun right in our own family, so we don't rely on a whole bunch of outside relationships. Over the years, the kids have been involved in a lot of different events and things like that, and we travel and do all those things. Lon likes to go to work and hang out with co-workers and stuff like that. I don't really have too many friends, so when I go out, the vendors and people I deal with like that are sort of, business associates. Wheeler and I do a lot of things together. The other children and I do a lot of things together. So how do we balance that? I don't know.
It kind of just comes.
It's just a natural.
Yeah, kind of works.
When you feel like you're working too much, you go play at the park. When you feel like you're playing too much, you grind and put a contest in place and grind out some work.
Yep.
It just balances itself out.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends in the Cuban community right now, and that's pretty much my whole friend base. Other than that, I'm just here. I don't need too much. I mean, I'm sure sometime.
So it's a I think it's more of a self-leveling balance than something that we really like put a lever forward and a lever backward. But this move has really was too much. And so I'm enjoying the last couple of weeks where I've actually ratcheted back a little bit. And pretty soon, though, the ratchet's going to have to go forward because we've got plenty to do, and we're looking over the horizon, and we know that the fall selling is coming, and we want to be ready for that.
Yep.
So, do you use promoted listings in order to increase sales?
We talked about that.
Talked about it a little bit, not really. What is your sell-through rate in percent, and what is your average sale cost?
Sell-through's interesting.
Yeah,
Pretty low.
It's pretty low. Our strategy is to be at top of market, but provide super good service, super accurate descriptions. We back our things with guarantees, reasonably fast shipping, good items, unique items in a lot of cases. And so sell-through rate is not as big a deal for us. And if it feels, which is not very scientific, but if it feels like it's too slow, I might run a sale. And so if I was to throw a percentage out there, I don't even know if I would be right. I guess one way to do it is currently we have, let's say, 2,500 camera items listed. I know it's lower because we just trimmed it.
Yeah.
But this would be a way to kind of do it. If we have 2,500 camera items listed, and in a 30-day period we're selling, let's say, 400, what is that?
I don't know.
15% sell-through?
Yeah, I was gonna say 10, so we're pretty close there. It's at least that.
I mean, we could have 90% sell-through if we really priced our things to the bone.
Yep.
Or ran auctions only. So I don't know, 10%, 15%. I go through periods where I price stuff a little too high, and I go through periods where I give stuff away. I don't get all stressed either way.
Yep.
What is your average sale cost? And I think what your question is what does an average item across the board sell for?
Yeah.
We aim at about $50, and I think we're a little below that. It varies depending on time of year and some other stuff, but probably $50.
Yep.
And I think the Northwest Kansas stuff that I sell, the general merchandise, is actually a little higher than the camera. So it's probably $50.
Yep.
And we're always trying to raise that, but that seems to be about where we're at.
Yeah. And it is kind of interesting. There's people even more extreme than us as far as that thing goes, which I'm not sure if I quite understand their business models. But there's a lot of camera sellers out of Hong Kong and Japan and those. There's this one particular, Kevin Cameras. And man, they have 6,000 some items listed, all the way up to $100,000 lenses and all this. I mean, I think they have a physical store. They're sort of advertising with their eBay store. But they have 6,000 items listed. They sell like 80 or 90 a month. And that's it. I mean, all their prices are astronomical. They're like 1.5 times or 2 times what ours are. So they do sell stuff at those prices occasionally. But man, their prices are crazy.
Well, they may use it just
and they don't sell that much either.
They may use it more as a catalog.
Yeah.
That's a visual catalog of their items. I've run into people, like this one seller was selling these high-end advertising clocks, and they were all like $2,000, and they would rarely sell any, but they had like 300 or 400 of them listed. Basically, I think it was a way that they visually cataloged their collection for insurance purposes. So
that definitely could be it. Yeah.
It was sort of like a virtual museum. It was a way to do a virtual museum of sorts.
I've run into a couple of sellers like that though, and this guy in particular is pretty interesting because I run into him with a lot of the rare stuff we have and whatever, and his prices are always like they're way up there. Sell a lens cap for $100.
And what's that place that this guy just mentioned? Something camera.
I don't remember.
It'll maybe come to me.
Yeah.
But they, they're selling literally thousands of items per month on eBay. And they're one of the leaders. Robert's Camera.
Yeah.
They're one of the leaders in camera stuff out there.
There's people who go the complete opposite direction. They literally have a positive sell-through percentage or something.
Their prices are so
they're selling
low.
more than they're listing, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Super crazy.
I think you shoot yourself in the foot if you underprice too much.
Yeah. So there's some people that they list them super basic. They do quick listings. There's a lot of different strategies in that. Which I don't need to get into the whole thing, but it's interesting to me.
Well, there's no strategy that's going to work across the board.
Exactly.
So don't necessarily do what we say, you can experiment with some of the things that we say, but it's got to fit the way you do business, the way you buy things, the price that you buy things for. It's got to fit your ability to handle a certain number of items. It has to fit the type of item you have. I mean, it becomes intuitive from experimentation.
Yeah. And here's one other thing that I just thought up is, I mean, it's not going to be across the board. There are going to be things you can do to sabotage your business, but for the most part, whether you sell stuff cheap or if you sell stuff expensive, you're going to make about the same across the whole spectrum, or very similar. To a point, obviously. There's extremes on both ends.
Who wants to work harder?
Yeah.
You could possibly add the lister's initials in the custom field with a bin number, stick a label on it, da-da-da-da-da. Banana peeler has grown into quite a young man already.
So tall. It's ridiculous.
Woo! BP over there.
Height of a banana peel.
Yeah, banana peeler. Jake has grown very tall. He outgrew all his clothes in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, his brother Ben is even crazier. I mean, how old is he? 13 now or whatever? But at 12, he has his growth spurt, man. He's as tall as I am, practically.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I love you guys. I have 3 boys, 17, 13, 10. I'm having our 17-year-old list, but not sure how to pay them and reward them for their part. Can you clue us in a bit on how you pay family members? I would love to know where to start, for what job, what pays. I think my 13-year-old would love to photograph, but not sure how to pay bonus. Thanks so much. Well, some of those things are kind of private, tax related. I don't really want to just throw everything out, but we have a combination. Some things we pay by the job, some things we pay more of like an allowance type thing. Some things we pay more like a commission. I have people on my payroll that are employees. I also have people on my payroll that are subcontractors. So you have to look at all these different things. We also look at some of the things that go into running a household. And the bottom line is, I've always been straightforward with my children on what things cost and how things get paid, and I think it's working out very well because they all, even Elizabeth and Sam, have their own money and spend their own money on things like clothes and food and all those kind of things, and I think they've got a solid understanding of the basics of how money works. Mm-hmm. And I also think they work pretty hard for their money, but on the other end of it, they always have more spending money than I have, so I don't I don't know how that works.
Yep.
So specifics, well, you gotta look at your local laws and things and how taxes work for you and all those different things. I can't get into the specifics of that.
Yeah.
Classifying your children either as employees or employees under 18 or subcontractors or employees over 18, all those things you're going to have to wade through. We have waded through it and have changed it over the years. I think we have a fair compensation plan, and I'll say this, most of our jobs are based on actual results. Mm-hmm. And some days that sucks, and some days it's great, but usually when we have discussions about money, we can come back to all these different things and we can say, so you want to make more money? Great, let's figure out how to do this.
Yep.
You're not making enough money, let's figure out how to do this. You're having a really good month, how about we keep it going? Here's what you did. And those things kind of generate over time. I don't think we had it figured out in the beginning. I actually paid you too much.
Oh yeah.
I was
for a while there.
I'm reasonably generous with money. Money for me is a vehicle. I always feel I can make more. I like to reward people when I go out to eat with good tips. I like to donate money. I like to buy my kids things. I like to have nice things. I like to do nice things. I like to eat good foods. I like to stay nice places. I like to do all that stuff. So I have to have some controls on my end. But you're gonna have to kind of go through that. I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah.
Bonuses. We have a lot of contests. We have a lot of contests and things that aren't necessarily big dollar things, but are focusing points, family incentives, things for the business, upgrades for the business. You know, beat the drum a little bit on, hey, we're going to get a new computer and here's what we have to do to get it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a new sofa for the fun room, you know, we make big deals about that.
Yeah.
We get together and like tonight we'll probably sit and watch some YouTube or a movie or something, and we'll sit and relax after work, and we won't talk much about work, but all week we're working so that on Saturday night we can hang out and do something.
Yep.
So it's not all about the money.
So I think results based and the what do you call it thing, commission is pretty good, percentage on sales and whatever, that type of stuff.
Yeah, so it's
Look into it.
yeah, I would try to do it results based.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have as much slack in the system then. In other words, when something sells, there's some money to be split up there. But if you pay hourly or if you pay on proposed sales and then things don't sell, you can get backwards in a hurry. Now here's a question I don't understand. This came through on the Memorial Day video. Maths, not math.
Maths is how they say it in Great Britain. I'm not sure they say it other places in the world like that, but that's how they say maths.
I don't even remember saying the word math.
I don't know.
So that's one of these things where I say something in a video and somebody's like,
Yeah.
maths, not math, LOL.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not in Great Britain.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
they're English.
English
are coming.
a lot of times when I'm
That's a
out
joke or
talking to somebody, I'll just say something however I want to say it, and I'm looking just to get that person to smile a little bit. Because there's a lot of people that are grumpy out there.
Mm.
There's a lot of people that are having a tough day. There's a lot of people that got a lot of stuff going on in their head. There's a lot of people that are working really hard. And this is a good point. When you're negotiating or talking with somebody, you want to have their attention. And so you got to break them out of some of that sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And
Do that all the time.
that's part of the fun.
Yep.
That is really part of the fun.
Mhm.
And they'll remember you for it too.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, can you show a video of the way you log your inventory in and how you keep track of it for the tax season? I stay away from the whole tax thing, mainly because there are people that are licensed out there that handle taxes. Also, the tax thing is tied directly to sales and money and all that, and I don't really talk about that a whole lot. And so our inventory process, I can do a little something with that on video, but I keep good records on everything I buy. I keep good records on everything I sell. I keep good records on everything I buy for the business and everybody I pay for the business. So basically, you have to have some sort of accounting that keeps track of that. At the end of the year, you got to know how much inventory you have. You got to know what you're putting in it. You got to know what you're taking out of it. I use spreadsheets. I use my phone when I'm out picking to keep track of what I'm buying. I do all those kind of things. And you just have to develop a system to keep track of that. And there's no easy way around it.
Mm.
Taxes, bookkeeping, keeping track of stuff, it's dull and boring, but it's necessary. You'll have to develop a system.
Nope.
You pause this for a second.
Ugh.
We had some good nights.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Legal help, accounting help, tax help, all that stuff. There's so much information online, and it's sort of like if you ask me about plumbing or electrical or how to fix your car or any of that stuff. I mean, there's better experts than me on that. How I do it is sort of how I do it, very simply but very complete, and whatever somebody wants from me, I can provide it. So you have to do the same.
Yep.
I'm teaching you some of those things, obviously,
Yeah.
too.
not very good at taxes. I don't like taxes so far.
Well,
but
nobody
whatever.
likes
Yeah,
it.
I'm sure.
Nobody likes keeping track of stuff.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't just want to walk like a rock star and just do your thing and not have to worry about anything? But that's not how how
exactly.
life is. It's part of being in business.
Yep.
Question and answers. How does the cost of goods factor into your taxes? I see a lot of YouTubers who don't track every purchase cost, so I'm wondering, can't you deduct the cost of goods from your taxes? Well, again, tax questions, I'm going to avoid those for the most part, but absolutely, the simplest way to look at it is if you buy something for $10 and sell it for $20, when you are calculating profit, $20 minus $10 is $10 profit. You have to pay taxes on the $10.
Mm-hmm.
That's money created out of your work, and then you have expenses that you can deduct from that $10. And so when it's all said and done, you might make a couple dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just basic taxes. You keep track of all those things, and at the end of the year or monthly or weekly, you do some calculations. A lot of that stuff, if you calculate it enough, it'll help you make good business decisions too. So there are benefits to it other than just keeping taxes. Now, there are plenty of people out there in all businesses that cheat on their taxes or do a lot of cash things under the table and all kinds of stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of online things going on where everybody wants to put sales tax on everything and all these different things. And so, there's a lot of buzz out there, but the bottom line is you got to keep track of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Question for the Q&A, how long was your house search? How long did your move take to at least get you into a new place up and running? Great vid as always, sir. Well, when we moved to Kansas, we moved from a nicer house situation to a less nice house situation. We had a change of income and a business change, and so I've been looking at houses since then. Mm-hmm. So we've been attempting to upgrade and trying to figure out an upgrade for quite a while. We made do for a long time, humbled out for a long time. This is quite an upgrade for us. I really like it. We're going to have to work hard to keep it and all that kind of good stuff, the American dream, whatever. So how long have we seriously been looking at houses? Probably a couple years. And how long did it take you to move?
We're here. Day one is up and running.
Yeah, we never stopped our business.
Yep.
But although the move is coming to an end, we're still moving.
Yep.
And moving stuff around. So it's been, we're in our third month. Mm-hmm. And we're certainly feeling more at home here.
Yeah.
But there's projects galore, as always. Watched a handful of your vlogs now and subscribed. I think this is my first comment on a video. I'm enjoying the content a great deal. Dealer, you and I have similar minds in terms of how to run a business. I really like your approach. I'm a full-time reseller as well up in the Lincoln, Nebraska area. Headed to one of those long trips in Denver this weekend. Lots of stuff that resonates with me in this video. I'm looking forward to catching up on some of your older stuff. Take care.
Wow, Lincoln, Nebraska, Denver. I guess it's not too far off what we're doing, but that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's quite a trip.
So, a lot of my older videos and the questions and answers, you could watch my videos from the beginning and you'd find that we repeat a lot of stuff that we say. Mm-hmm. A lot of the stuff we do in the business is very similar. Of course, we buy different stuff, so there's always new stuff to see that way. I grow older, Wheeler grows older, our hairstyles change. Yep. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
But if you do look at some of the older videos, we do cover a lot of different topics. Now there's plenty of filler in our videos. There's plenty of videos that are just plain nonsense And there are some really good topic videos, and so you could go back, and there's probably 20 or 50 videos that I would say are must watch.
I was gonna say, yeah.
If you really want to get something out of it. So I encourage you to go back and look. I wish there was an easier way to catalog them or whatever, but feel free. I appreciate that. Are you going to sell those 3 air pumps you had, and if so, cost plus shipping? Well, I get asked about items a lot on the show, and the way we do that mostly is I just get to them when I get to them, and I put them up on eBay and they sell to whoever. I don't wholesale a lot of stuff out. I don't sell a lot of stuff directly to viewers, and so I am testing these air pumps, and we're in communication, and maybe we'll get a deal or not. But some people, I think, when they see our stuff on videos, they think that I should just sell it out for what I paid for it or something, and it just doesn't make sense, because I'm in the business of making money and adding value and finding the end user. So we had like this Jordan poster. We had a lot of people chasing this foam Jordan thing, and I haven't sold it. I put it up online. It's rather expensive. I probably will lower the cost over time, but I don't give stuff away.
Yeah.
It's just not the way we do it.
The amount of time we search for stuff, the amount of money that goes into travel and all this other stuff, you can't sell stuff where you buy it for.
Yeah,
Expect.
yeah, and so that really doesn't relate to the pumps. I mean, I'm willing to sell them out. I don't have to list them then or something like that. But part of the reason I bring all this up also is, we make these videos, and my life is just one constant freight train. And so I'm in my groove in my system, and I just can't get knocked out of that very easily. So I will continue to get that information to you. It's just taken me a while. How you doing over there?
Good.
I do like the uniform totes that you're using now. I know you didn't always have that. What kind of expense did you incur on that? I need to switch over to something like that. And then, there's some other questions on that. So we use a mail tote size. It's like an 18 by 12 by 16 tote. In fact, these are the standardized totes that we use now. They come in different colors. We happen to order them from Uline. They're $10 if you buy a bunch of them, $10 each. They last forever. They're virtually indestructible. They got handles. You can carry 40, 50 pounds in them, no problem.
Yep.
They stack nice. They shelf nice. You can color code them. You can write on them. We've bought a few sets of 100, probably 300 totes in the last year, maybe 400 totes. We've really toted our business, and I think it's helped a lot.
Both bags and totes. I mean, those are the two things we really switched to the last little while.
Yeah, we used to have a lot more things in cardboard, and we'd have a lot more problems with not only spiders and smells and smelly
Just dust all over
cardboard
the place.
and dust. It's helping us keep things nicer, I think, and for traveling and picking and stuff like that. I really like it. Now, it is an expense. It's not for everybody. We certainly didn't do that at the beginning. I plan to do more of it. As we have more people working in our business, it's a lot nicer to keep all that stuff. Are there other ways to do it? I'm sure there are. There's clear totes. There's things with lids. It's sort of... burp caught me.
Yeah.
It sort of depends on the items that you have, I think.
Yep.
So
There's got to be better and cheaper ways to do it, but just the way that they're made and everything, I mean, they're pretty solid for what they are. I mean, you can get like Sterilite bins or whatever for $2 each or $2.50 each from certain places in bulk, but it works for us.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Thanks for the videos. What a wonderful thing to work and travel with your children and wife. I loved working with my dad growing up. Well, I did a lot of things with my parents growing up. We did some camping and some other family things, and we ran a family business. I was really close to both my parents, my mom especially in business. I worked full-time with her for 10 years, and those are some of the memories and things that shaped me. So I really like doing that with my kids. There are challenges. We have different personalities. I can be grumpy at times. I don't handle things very well at times. So it's, whatever it is, I'll be remembered.
Yep, ups and downs is fun.
Well,
that's how it works.
I had a lot of bosses that were casseroles, and a lot of teachers and professors that I thought were casseroles. But as I grew older and learned responsibility and things like that, I realized why they were that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know. I appreciate them a lot more now. So hopefully that's the way too. And yeah, hanging out with people that you care about, that's, what's better than that. Sage advice. A wise man named Ferris Bueller once said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. So that, I just put that on there because of the travel aspect, and we really like the picking. And when we travel, we do take the time to smell the roses, and same with when we work our business. We rarely work from 9 to 5.
Oh yeah.
But we do some things during the day that are breaks and fun and whatever we want.
I don't only buy and sell cameras. I also like to be the photographer and stuff. So I take a lot of photos and stuff on trips.
Yeah.
Fun.
So people sort of ask, don't you get sick of listing and just doing listing and stuff like that? I mean, for the most part, for the most part, you like cameras.
Oh yeah.
So it's almost.
No, I hate them. I'm just in here for the money.
Well, yeah.
No.
Hope your birthdays get better every year, but I know about the inherent limitations when you do a question and answer. Would you please discuss a little how you keep track of how much you have in inventory, dollars, taxable inventory, etc.? Thanks. Well, everything that I buy, I record on a spreadsheet, and it totals it up through the whole year. And then everything that we sell on a retail level is totaled up. And then once a year we have to count inventory. And basically that is a form of estimating to some degree, because we buy things in lots and we assign a dollar value to a lot. And so you do the best you can do. You get authentic dollar figures, and then you do that. You make an estimate of what you have, and you have documentation to back everything up.
Mm-hmm.
When you and Wheeler are out on focus trips, do you extend your handling time for shipping, or does the rest of your family still pack and ship daily? Well, strangely enough, I've noticed that some of our listings have 3-day handling on them, and
That's really weird.
I must have changed them and not changed them back.
Yeah.
So I need to
That's
go.
not that great.
I need to go back and change that, because people don't necessarily like that.
They'll screw up your fast and free and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know what the heck happened there, but most of the time we travel for a day or two, and we will pack early on one side of it and super late on the other side of it, and we'll keep things running.
So it's pretty much like 1 day handling compared to usual same day.
Yeah.
It's not too much different.
Yeah, and then more and more Banana Peeler is doing the packing, and so if he's here, he's either prepping stuff and getting it ready. Soon he'll be able to pack everything whether I'm here or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same when I'm here and other people are gone, I do the packing. So
yep.
we're heading more that direction, but we try very hard to not turn things off, and I don't like extending the handling time, although we have done that in the past.
Yep. It's not 100% autonomous yet, but I'm sure eventually it will be. The whole deal.
Well, yeah.
Shipping.
Does your
office,
new home have any extra space so you don't have to keep paid storage shed eventually? Yes, logistically we're working on that, being that our storage is out of state like that. That has some challenges, bringing it all in at once. And in reality, bringing all that here at once would have overwhelmed us, just because it's a huge job.
Yep.
Stacking, moving, sorting, all that kind of stuff. So we really had to prepare our house for all that stuff. We're nearly there, and I believe the plan is this fall to close out the storage and have it all here.
Yep.
And
so that was one of the things that we're looking for in a new house, a new area, a new thing.
yeah, I don't like paying for the storage, and I don't like that it's out of state. It just is the way it is. I have a question for your Q&A. How important is climate-controlled storage? I don't sell camera gear, but I do sell some electronics. I have a new 12 by 20 storage shed, somewhat insulated, airtight as possible. Stay dry product for moisture control. Electrifying the shed would require some 100+ feet of buried wiring. It's on the to-do list, but maybe move to the top of this list based upon your answer. Once wired, is a dehumidifier sufficient, or should I use an AC? Well, it all depends on, you say electronics. Some of that stuff can handle heat and cold. It also depends on your climate. We have pretty good extremes of heat and sunshine out here, and also cold and dryness and humidity. And so camera gear, in order to extend its life, I believe climate controlled is the best way to go.
100%, yeah. I mean, to extend its life, not that I can't handle the other stuff, but just ultimate life on a lot of that stuff, that's the deal.
It removes a lot of problems. We have bought stuff over the years that has been in every extreme of storage, and for us to clean and to deal with a lot of the musty crap that you get, I think has changed our mind to, first of all, rid of things like spiders and pests, humidity, mold, mildew, smells, stuff that, gets all sticky and all that stuff. So we've just tried to always take the high road on that. We do not have climate controlled storage back at our old house. We didn't have any. So we either had to rent an office and have it with us there, or jam it in our house, which was really small. We do have some local climate controlled storage now that we may utilize. Out of state, we use climate controlled. If you can do it, do it. If you can't, you can't. But you might have to build in a little more, what do you call that, when you have 100 items and you have to throw 5 away. There's
triage?
No, there's a word.
Sure
shrink.
Yeah.
You might have more shrink if you don't have climate controlled storage. Just imagine, if you went into a Walmart and the back half of the Walmart didn't have air conditioning and all that. The stuff would, the inventory would sag a little bit,
Yep.
Stuff would be sweaty.
Yep.
So you have to make your own choices on that. It's always in the minds of cost and convenience and all that kind of stuff. For us, we also wanted our storage to be high-end enough where if we had a few $100,000 worth of stuff, and the highest that they offer their little insurance for is a few thousand, you want it to be a nice enough place where you feel comfortable. Some of these storage facilities are lacking in security.
Yep.
And even if you have a shed or something like that, you have to weigh that as well. I always feel better when my inventory is safe and climate controlled.
Yep. So it's a balance.
It's definitely a
like
balance.
A lot of things.
But, if you can't afford to do it, you can't afford to do it. You just have to realize there's some downsides.
A lot of stuff we buy came from non-climate controlled areas, so we get it all, and then we can kind of see what goes on with that. So it's not going to kill it if it's non-crazy climate control, but it definitely extends the life of a lot of stuff.
Well, it can remove some problems.
Yeah, that too.
It can, we had some things in the past where over time they aren't what it was when we first had it. It got too hot or weird.
Oh yeah, exactly.
What advice do you have for someone wanting to dip their toe in cameras and accessories? I know there's a lot of junk out there. Just start buying and selling.
Yep. Figure it out.
Buy the cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Buy the good deals.
Yep.
Don't put money that you can't afford to tie up in inventory. Don't buy things for a lot of money that you don't know are right. Just do it. Dip your toe in. Buy a box of cameras Go through, look them up.
Figure out your market, figure out what to do with them, how you want to sell them, how you want to market yourself as that whole deal.
We look for specific things in our camera business, but we'll buy what's available.
We basically buy in a band of price-wise for the most part, and that's pretty much what we deal with. So
we say no to a lot more things than we used to.
Oh yeah.
But in the beginning, we said yes to everything.
And the stuff I'm shooting to dealer and crew and all that is pretty much the stuff we would have bought at the start, which is kind of funny. The stuff that's sort of my reject stuff is the exact same stuff we were buying at the start to make a little bit. So takes time.
What a great thing it is to have the cash to make big purchases when they're available. I know so many resellers here on YouTube they empty their accounts daily, never get to make large purchases, or they take out working capital loans, which puts them behind 30% profit each month until paid. You have shown the way to manage business money through your videos. I don't understand why folks are not heeding your advice. Enjoy the new haul. Well, I mean, it is hard to build up a big inventory. It is hard to grow any business solely on cash. You definitely have to have capital to have inventory. If your business is cash starved, you have to make some choices on that. One choice is, of course, to live within your means. One choice is to have other forms of income until your business can stand alone. You may feel comfortable making some big purchases on credit. You may feel comfortable with the risk of big purchases, but you never feel 100% comfortable because there's always risk. So you have to make the best choices you can. If you are always buying stuff limited by the amount of dollars you have, you will miss opportunity. So you need to find a way when the opportunity comes along to get it. We used to buy stuff that was a little bit outside of our comfort zone, and then we would run contests and things like that to really bust it out, to shorten the time to success. We do need to do some more of that.
Even tried running everything at auction once. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
One lot.
Yeah. We made money.
Yeah, we did make money,
but man, scary.
Yeah, it was about half of what we probably would have sold it for in the long run, but we sold all in a week or whatever.
Thanks for sharing your business with us. I have a couple of questions if you would like to consider them. You are a numbers guy. Have you calculated how long it would take Wheeler to simply list the inventory you currently have? I know unlisted backstock is considered a liability, and the time value of money, storage costs, inventory damage, decay comes into play for sure. Yeah, I've done some math on that. I know we're underwater as far as we have too much stuff.
Oh yeah.
But there's other factors that go into that, and I weigh those probably weekly. I'm comfortable with it enough. I mean, there's some days that I'm less comfortable with it, and some other days where I'm comfortable enough to keep buying. I don't know everything to say about this, but you got to have a cart full of inventory to make money. So we have that. We're continually working at ways to get Wheeler the best stuff that we have, and so that's about that.
Yep, we've talked about why we keep buying stuff, and there's definitely a rhyming reason behind it. It is pretty crazy.
How do you handle the classic problem of a business cloistering knowledge among a few key employees? Wheeler's the expert, and without him, the camera part of the business would be in big trouble. Are you working on a plan where he can begin to share his knowledge with other employees so that should he leave the business, it can move forward? On another note, have you thought about Wheeler simply identifying and pricing the cameras and having other employees use their less valuable time to list them? It would seem a better use of his talents and a faster and more efficient way to get the inventory listed. As you know, leaders and experts cannot allow themselves to get tangled in the weeds, so to speak. As an outsider, it kills me watching him use his time cleaning and listing camera equipment. We all know that. Okay. So there's a lot there. Sure, I think about all these things.
Oh yeah.
I know more about cameras than I did a few years ago. My fallback, should Wheeler decide not to be in the business, or if something would happen, would be that I know enough to liquidate it. And I would liquidate the camera stuff. I would get into something else that I enjoy. I would still probably buy and sell cameras because it's too good of a market. The reason we do so well in cameras, it's a couple of things. It's a partnership that we have. I've got a lot of business skills which allow us to access tons of good camera stuff. Wheeler, for the most part, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but you really like a lot of the history of cameras. You like a lot of the mechanical workings. You like to use cameras, all kinds of stuff. The listing, I mean, that's the cement work of the business.
Yep.
And so some people might look at that as a waste of your time. Many days you look at it as a dream job.
Yeah,
so
that's a big part of it. Well, I was gonna say there's a lot of different ways that we could run this business. Obviously, you can do it in a lot of different things. We've tried talking to their kids and see if they want to do the cleaning part of the camera stuff and whatever. And yeah, it definitely is the thing is, it's such a technical job, but it's also just such busy work and whatever. Nobody else wants to do it.
It's a skilled
exactly.
job.
It's a skilled job, so you have to teach somebody, and nobody wants to do it. So that's
Yeah.
It's too low. It's too technical for how low it is. How annoying it is.
It's kind of like I load the damn dishwasher and do the dishes,
Exactly.
and I'll farm out some other jobs to the children, but there's just certain things that you do.
Yep.
And why do you do them? Well, you just do them that
Yeah.
way. So you like taking the pictures.
Yeah.
Partially because
Pictures doesn't take too long either.
partially because you do a good job at it.
Yeah.
Is there anybody on the planet that can do as good a job with camera stuff as Wheeler doing it? I don't know. There's probably 100 people that are in your category out there.
There's definitely
And
more.
then there's probably 10,000 people out there that can't do as well, that do okay with camera stuff. And so it's really more about passion. Would I get more into cameras if Wheeler decided to go do his own thing? Maybe. But there's so many categories to buy and sell out there. It really doesn't even matter. I probably would try to buy and sell something that either was easy for me to get and I enjoyed somewhat, or just whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't worry too much about it.
Yep.
Life's full of up and downs. We'll ride with it. Let's see.
I think we're on the third or second page there. Page 3.
We all know that fads come and go. Do you have a plan in place to monitor the used camera market, and could you move out of it should the interest in old film cameras wane? Hopefully the market stays strong for as long as you need. Again, thanks for what you're doing. Well, yeah, we monitor it. Things do come and go and change.
Absolutely.
In the camera market. There's been a lot of changes in the last 8 to 10 years.
Yeah. The biggest one I remember last year was that the Polaroid market went to zero.
Polaroids, yeah.
We used to sell the pack film Polaroids when Fujifilm was still making the film. They stopped making it last year or the year before that, whenever it was. And literally the pack film Polaroids went from like $100 to $130 cameras to about 20, and they're 1,000 listed. Nobody wants them.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. So there's a lot of those types of trends and ups and downs and things. But the camera market right now is so wide. There's so many people taking photos, and it originally was such an expensive and just rich market. Like the cameras originally cost $700, $800, $1,000. That we're at such a low end of the market. On the bell curve, we're at the bottom of the bell curve right now. So I'm not that worried about it. There's always going to be a market.
I would say
things.
there's 100 super strong markets on eBay that I could list on a piece of paper, and cameras definitely is a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good wide category. There's a lot of aspects to it. You can really diversify out. It's an international market, but there's other markets out there that are just as good. I mean, car parts. You could buy and sell car parts on eBay just as wide and just as strong.
Yeah.
or
A little bit heavier. But
there's
still.
a lot of collectible markets. There's a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
There are just, clothing is just an unbelievably wide and huge market.
Yeah.
Seasonal and holiday stuff. There's different seasonal and holiday stuff that are huge markets. There's so many markets out there. I've already been in other markets.
Yep.
I made a living in a very narrow air purifier technology market on eBay for years.
Mm-hmm.
Same with test strips, diabetic test strips for years. General merchandise. You can buy and sell just general merchandise.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not worried.
Yeah, you can switch to watches, anything else. But like I said, I think one of the most interesting things to me about cameras is how much the initial cost of it was and how hard the depreciation was on a lot of that stuff. And that we're selling comparatively to the original price at such a low price on all this stuff. I mean, it's not much that's going to change there in the future as far as I know.
Yeah, we feel pretty secure. Now, on the other end of things, are we leveraged to the hilt? I think each of my children, my wife, and each of our children have learned to save money in one way or another. Now, I'm not going to give specific examples, but we have a savings plan, and so we can weather some storms. On the other end of that, we're all fairly capable and marketable. I can go out and get a job tomorrow. It might not be one I like. It might not pay top dollar, but just like picking and negotiating and talking to people, I can walk in and get a job.
Yeah.
Anytime I want. Wheeler, you haven't had a lot of outside jobs, but you could do the same.
I have people skills of some sort.
Yeah. So, we will survive.
Yeah, I can figure it out. I think I try to stay in the whole entrepreneurial space. I mean, I go photography, I go watch reselling. I mean, there's so many different markets that you could try and go for.
Well, and you don't have this experience, but sometimes when you have expenses and you go from one thing to another, there's a lull.
Oh, absolutely.
And so sometimes you have to work in something you don't want while you change over.
Or in the changeover, you have to work really hard. You have to hit the ground. You have to spend the next month pulling long days.
Yeah.
Or something like that to really.
Mr.
take it into
Picker.
gear.
Mr. Picker. I don't know if they're talking to you or me, I think.
Yeah.
How do you not get overwhelmed? Love you guys.
We've been doing it a while.
Yeah. Off camera, I'm like,
We're swimming in the pool.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
It comes with the territory, but basically, like the ninja guys that used to spend an hour or two a day hitting the coconut, boom, 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 and they get these super strong calluses on their finger. When you pick for 10 years, it's the same thing. You just have a strong callous for overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I used to walk into some of these just crazy picks and stuff early on, and I just got completely overwhelmed. I couldn't really operate and couldn't really put it together. But eventually, I mean, you figure it out. You just kind of, it definitely gets tougher at all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think I've alluded to it. I pick up on everything, but I spend half my energy ignoring most stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the other half of my energy, I focus on what I'm doing.
Yep.
That's probably it. Why wouldn't you just rent a big U-Haul truck and bring it all home, or at least in your hometown at once? Why constantly waste all the travel time, storage, rent, and expense to bring it home bit by bit? Well, there's just so much.
Yep.
And it's too much to process at once. And although we have the space for it, I don't want to just stack it up and throw it in there haphazardly.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do some sorting on it. So we're doing it in an orderly way. There's also so much profit in what we're doing that we're able to do it in an orderly way.
Mm-hmm.
And although there is cost and time, it is offset by the quality of the items.
Yeah, so eventually we are going to be doing that, like you mentioned there. And I mean, that's the thing, but if you think about it, we just got into this house. Before this, we were in a town with no prospects for storage or anything. We had a house that couldn't fit it. So I mean, that was when the storage unit made sense. Now that we're in the new place, the plan's changing slowly but surely, but we just moved, so
we're transitioning.
It's going to happen eventually.
I think this fall is going to be bring it all home.
Yep.
And part of it also is 20% of that stuff is kind of smelly, yucky stuff. So it's actually nice not having that in the house.
Mm-hmm. Until you sort it, whatever.
So we're trying to figure out how to sort that. And if you don't sort that stuff out, then everything kind of smells, and then your whole house smells.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are taking the best stuff out of there, which takes energy and effort, and then leaving the B grade stuff behind. So we have our reasons, but yeah, it doesn't always seem 100% cut and dry and logical. And I would call us closer to premium pickers, where we're not doing everything like cut to the bone.
Mm-hmm.
We I don't want to call us like, what would you say, like propped up or pumped up or all. We don't have all this bling on and all this kind of stuff and strutting around or anything. But you know, we try to use tools that are sometimes expensive. We do things in a way that is a little more comfortable. It wasn't always that way. We've paid our dues, and I constantly, every week, have to look at stuff and say, all right, we're going a little too far. We're not going far enough. Whatever. There's choices that you have to make. So, great video. What's the best day of the week for the Mile High Flea Market in Denver? By the way, I'm in that last category, always turning stuff away. I don't know if it's the best day. We found that Saturdays work the best for us. Mm-hmm. The Mile High Flea Market in Denver is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We don't pick or do work on Sundays. We take that as a rest day. And so that takes Sunday out of the picture. Mm-hmm. Typically Fridays are lighter at the flea market.
I was gonna say.
And it doesn't necessarily get started right in the morning. It's more of, I think, an afternoon thing.
Yep.
And the traffic and everything and the Friday thing and all the timing for that doesn't always work out the best for us. So Saturdays have always been our day, and I think it's even possibly the best day.
Yeah, I'm sure it depends on a few different things, but it, for us, has been the best day.
Now, vendors that are there and selling Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you will miss out on some things that they sell on Fridays if you don't go.
Yep.
And then if you go like late in the day on Saturday, I think all the good stuff's gone.
Oh, I think so
like
too.
When you go to rummage sales. Mm-hmm. But we've been there on Saturdays, and we found some of the best stuff ever in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you can't discount that.
Yep.
We're getting down there.
Yep.
How long do you project it will take you to list all of this stuff?
Next week. We're pretty much done. It's all listed.
I think this is the 18-hour day where we scored the RC helicopter and the stuff from the flea market. So that stuff sort of got mixed in with everything else, but it was like a couple tables full.
Honestly, I seem to talk about everything.
Well, all of it. Yeah, it always flexes. Models, we had a couple hundred. We probably had another 100 pieces, so 300 pieces. We can list that in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. If that's all we're listing.
Yep.
I'm working on getting there, still learning and starting to get to that point. Had our first $120 purchase today, and it was the first time we had to pack a bigger item. So they sold something for $120. Look forward to getting out and purchasing better items this year, and your videos have showed us that it can be done. So yeah, we talked about that in some of our videos. Higher priced items, you shouldn't be scared of them. Things you buy for $1 or $2 or $3, if you can sell those for 10 or 20 or 50 or whatever, that's great.
Yep.
But if you shouldn't be scared of buying something for 20 and selling it for 80. You shouldn't be afraid to buy something at 50 and sell it for 200. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be afraid of buying something for 100 and selling it for 2.25. You know, it's really the profit per item.
Shouldn't be afraid to pull something out of a free bucket and sell it for over $100.
Yeah, we'll see how that video goes.
Yeah, it'll be pretty fun.
So,
yep.
I do encourage people to buy bigger things, but do your due diligence. This is the real deal. It's not a lottery ticket. It shouldn't be a chance thing. It's not a game. Make it real.
Yep.
Make it count. Buy good stuff. I don't always know what I'm buying.
No.
But I typically hedge my bet by either bundling or
buying so much that you couldn't possibly have too
yeah.
much bad stuff in
so
there.
So if I buy something for 50 and it turns out to only be worth 20 mentally, I'm going to say, well, I bought 3 other things that day that I'm going to make $100 on, so really I'm making $80. Oh well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't even get down for long.
Like, man, if we have 1,000 camera items and I get all down over like the 5 that we're losing money on in there, we'd have so much other good stuff.
The one that you're testing that you break something off.
Exactly.
Oh.
I've done it before, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, partially the fall of the item or whatever, but still.
Like the beer sign last week that I shipped, and the guy contacts me, and I'm already having kind of a crappy day. I guess this was yesterday. And on top of that, I got food poisoning. if I let those things get to me too long, we won't be in business. And we won't be having any fun. So
exactly.
I try to shrug those things off. They will happen. They happen in regular life, and when you have your own business, they happen more often. When you buy more stuff, they happen more often. When you have more people working with you and for you, it happens more often. So you find ways to deal with it.
Yeah.
Deal with it, dealer.
I bought this tripod from the flea market. It's fantastic. I think it's like $10.
Yeah,
really unrelated. It's really fancy.
We're gonna sell it for how much?
Probably 100 plus shipping or more.
100 plus shipping. We bought it for $10, and we're using it.
Probably more like 150 or 200, but I'm just going the low end there. Originally, probably a $600 or $700 tripod in the 90s.
By the way, I love buying really cool stuff that I like. I use it for a while, and then I sell it.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
This is nicer than my personal tripod.
I know it.
Surprising.
Any summer family competition project goals this year? I need some momentum, inspiration.
Got it going.
Yeah. So last year, I believe we did a momentum contest where it was like 90 days or something, and we were trying to list, I don't know what the heck we were trying to do.
Dollar amount.
$100,000 or something.
Like
I don't remember
much.
But we had a big contest with a big prize, and we had some ups and downs, and it was pretty good. But we definitely, the end result is we listed more. With this move, we've been thrown off. I said I should have a June contest. And here we are, June 1st, and I don't have it.
That's pretty crazy. This is the June 1st Q&A.
Yeah.
Realize.
So I'm working on it, and that is one of my hats that I wear, motivation, help. But really, as much as we have some contests and in-house contests and motivation and momentum, I also personally work on just self-motivation. So I don't have days where I don't get done what I don't want to get done, and then I work with my children and everybody around me, and I try to motivate them so that they have self-motivation, and the contests then are more for fun than anything else, even if it does have a motivational factor. So we're going to have one, but the other thing, I guess, is moving to this house has been sort of like a motivation for me, and I keep expressing that to people when they look around our house, and we now have what do we have, 9-foot ceilings downstairs?
Yeah, pretty much.
And the basement has 8-foot ceilings, and we have lots more space, and it's nice and airy, and we got a nice yard and a nice garage, and all these different things. That's the motivation that we're working with right now, and I'm trying to keep that out there, and it certainly is motivating me personally. But yeah, we need to have some events.
Pause this here for a minute.
All right, so we're at about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost 3.
We're gonna keep going, and I'm gonna start powering through these and try to keep the answers short. Some of these questions came in 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, and that people may or may not be watching. They're all relevant, but we're gonna power through these. Thanks for another great video. Many hours I spent watching you. 14 years selling on eBay. I'm still learning. Okay, so this was a camera question.
Yeah.
And the whole camera thing is like this. We don't really want to answer camera questions for people, mainly because it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know cameras, we can't answer the questions to you because they're just too situational.
Yeah.
There's so many conditions of cameras, so many things that can happen with a used camera. You know, there's so many different factors. You know, are you going to sell this camera and offer the money back guarantee? All these different things. So if you want to get into the camera game, part of the reason there's a barrier to entry is there's a lot to know to be the expert.
Yep.
It doesn't happen overnight, and we can't be an expert to somebody and then they're going to be the expert.
Yep.
You have to learn by going through the actual playing around with it, cleaning around with it, watching YouTube videos, learning by trial and error, making some mistakes. So we don't typically answer camera questions very much.
The way to start out, obviously, is going to be like start with one section of the camera market, buy some stuff in that section, and shoot it up there, figure that stuff out, and then of course you can expand from there because I mean there's so much stuff.
The other way to get in the camera market, you don't make as much money, but you don't have to put in as much effort, is to buy the stuff for pennies on the dollar and double your money by selling it back out on eBay in a lot, or sell it as is, sell it untested, da-da-da-da-da. So to go from no camera experience to, hey, I picked up this good deal on a camera, and then being the expert and getting that huge chunk of money, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless you've paid the dues. So what you're going to have to look on something like that is, I bought this really cool camera. Yes, it could sell for here, but I don't have the experience. I can't get the experience. I'm going to have to sell it to somebody in the middle, and they're going to either, you know, make that up in equity using it themselves with their own experience, or they're going to resell it. We did that, and we still do that in a lot of camera stuff.
Yeah, obviously a little bit different example, but kind of like the certain items that you have to send off to these big crazy auction companies to get top dollar for, some really rare stuff and art and some of that stuff. I mean, it wouldn't sell on eBay, or you couldn't sell it if you didn't know the right people to buy it. There's a whole different rift there.
And you know, some other parts of this question were, you know, here's my phone number, can you call us and talk to us and all that kind of stuff. I mean, look, we make these videos for various reasons. We've talked about that, but we can't do personal calls and stuff like that. We're just too damn leveraged. And in no disrespect meant or anything like that, but the other thing is this. If you're new to the camera stuff, you can find something for $200 in the camera field pretty easily, and it will sell for $600 or $800. But the experience needed to pull that off consistently, that takes time and energy. That takes breaking some stuff, getting some returns, losing some stuff in the mail, you know, misdescribing some stuff. It just takes a lot of time. So as a viewer, if you run into your first camera item for $50 or $100 and it turns out to be a $600 or $800 item possibly, that's awesome. But realize that $300, $400, $500 you make, the first time you make it, you're going to have to pay the price. That don't, you know, some of us used to work a week for that kind of money. So if somebody thinks that in an hour phone call they're going to be able to understand everything and make that money, you're not thinking properly.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Certain cameras are definitely more complicated too, kind of like Swiss watches or some of that kind of stuff. He was talking about Pentax 645 there, and I'm actually not the most experienced like some of that medium format stuff, and some of that stuff is pretty complicated and annoying to get to work correctly in an interface. And I mean, there's a lot of even stuff like, I don't know, certain things have to trick them into working correctly. You have to click this and click that when there's no film in it. I mean, there's just a lot of different little small things to know, and it can be hard to troubleshoot. It can be hard to fix stuff. I mean, we, for the most part, don't deal with fixing stuff. We try to get to somebody's going to, and I don't know.
So I guess our YouTube
It's
channel
complicated.
is a buying and selling channel. We're not a camera
No, we
channel.
don't do anything camera related here.
Well, I know, but we're not a camera
Yeah,
channel. We
I
don't,
get it.
you know, we don't do that.
Yeah.
So,
I sort of used to do that. I'm not doing it anymore.
yeah. Well, we're running a business. There's no return on investment for that. It's fun, but it's just as fun to do what we do and make money.
Yep.
So, I guess we could probably
Probably sell your camera, whatever, but then you probably get some bad reviews.
sell your camera knowledge. Have camera coupons. You want to ask a question?
Yeah.
Send in $50. We'll answer it.
Well, you know,
It's
Patreon,
really,
yeah,
it's not,
camera question.
it's really not about the money, but
Yeah.
we can't do that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I probably didn't do a very good job of explaining that. But it does come up. We get a lot of requests for a lot of things, and although we give a lot away free, we have ability to do some things and not do some things. One thing I learned about reselling is pace yourself. Don't push yourself too hard, because sooner or later you're going to have a mental burnout. For me, the recovery could be days, weeks, or even months. Every reseller should have at least 1 day off per week to recover.
I'm doing 2 right now, so yeah, pretty much.
So I always am a big believer in that. We don't work on Sundays. This is not really a question, but I just like to reiterate, why are we so into it? Well, I think we do pace ourselves in a sense. Now we're both personality types that if we're not doing this, we're doing something else 100 miles an hour. I relax a lot more than I used to, and I relax plenty, but I like to get a lot out of whatever energy I put into something. So,
Yeah, once I'm revved up, I don't want to have to like go down and then have to rev back up. I just want to stay there.
but taking a day off a week, I think it's very important. I think if you don't take a day off, and I would recommend Sundays for various reasons, but if you don't take a day off a week and you find yourself sort of burnt out, I would start there. It'll pay back. It should pay back. How much are you selling the Michael Jordan picture for? Well, I talked about that. It's listed now, but we get requests for things, and when they show up on the eBay, that's when they're for sale. Like the Lowe's bowling ball, notice Wheeler's cool watch. Are you still thrifting watches, or has market overloaded?
Yeah, talked about that a little bit.
We did. There's always a good market for quality items. So even though the camera market is flooded on the low end, there's always a market for quality stuff. Same with watches, same with car parts, same with clothes. There's a million things out there that sell for next to nothing profit, but quality and unique things always sell. That's the picking. That's the pick well. Right?
Quite a collection of watches. I think I still have my Russian Komendaiski watch or whatever from the 70s. I've been wearing that one for a month now.
Are you guys still in Kansas? Yes, we are. We're still in Northwest Kansas. Dealer, check the comps on the old bowling ball bags. I didn't know that.
I'd be
so I
surprised,
will.
yeah, because I've seen it at thrift stores and stuff in big piles and who knows, bowling ball bags.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to check that.
sounds interesting.
Are you excited about the possibility of cryptocurrency being a payment form on eBay, possibly in the near future?
Woo! I'm excited about it. I don't know. I've had an up and down thing with the cryptocurrency. I'm not that into it. It's basically the cash of the future, I guess is what they're saying, but I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm excited.
Don't know enough about
I'm
it.
always interested in all that stuff. Less and less. I don't know. I used to get more wrapped up in the details and more interested in that. We'll see what happens. I have some reservations about technology and all that. So cashless, all that stuff, there's pros and cons with everything. Online currency, pros and cons. I'm gonna continue to try to do business in this world, and I will go where that takes me. However, I don't want to give up certain things to get that. Now, I'm not saying cryptocurrency fits into any of those things, but those are some of my reservations. Change, you know.
Would have been nice to buy some Bitcoin at $4 back when I first saw it come out in 2012, 2013. I don't remember the exactities of it, but I was thinking about buying some 2013, I think. 2012, whenever.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty good. But
So I don't know. eBay has talked about splitting from PayPal again. I think they are doing that. I think they're going to come up with a different payment system altogether. So I'm still using PayPal. I'm going to have to roll with it. I'll roll with it. That's what I'm going to do. What is the name of your eBay store?
It's bleep.
Yeah. So we allude to that from time to time. I actually say sort of the names of our different stores from time to time. I used to have it on all our videos. Find a unique one of our items and go look it up. So I don't give it out directly just because of the world that we live in. People can mess with you. So, you know, you can find us. It's not that hard.
Don't want to make it too easy for them.
Well, I just, yeah. I'm
Barrier
not,
to entry.
well, yeah.
I'll figure it out, figure it out.
So it's not that I don't give it out. I just don't have it plastered on my forehead. Great video. I have 2 daughters who are adults now, so I know they grow fast, but it didn't seem like you were off YouTube for that long for them to change so quickly. The space in the new house looks awesome for your family and business. Thanks for sharing. Not sure if you're wanting to share, but curious if you are in the same state or have moved to a new one. Also, is it your intention to get everything out of the storage unit in the new house? We're still in Northwest Kansas, and we're trying to get the stuff in the new house.
Yep.
It's a process, and part of the challenge is we kept our business running, so we don't have the time and energy to get everything perfect before we run business again. Everything is dynamic, and so we have to prioritize. And yeah, we do like the new house. So some of these questions are a little bit older. Hey there, I enjoy your blogs, vlogs. This is one of especially relevant. Been listing on eBay for nearly 2 years. Job ending this summer. I go full time in 2 months. Sell an average of 2,000 to 3,000 a month gross with approximately 250 listings. Just now I have several thousand items stored and available to sell. Not listed yet because too busy. I've been selectively buying for several months. 20 days I'll be free to list full time. I have 3 capable teenage children. Want to convince them to work with me. Funny thing is, all 3 were raised abroad. 12, 14, 16 years old. We came back on November 8th, 2016. Actually, I came back after being away since 2002, and they entered the USA for the first time, So our largest hurdle is funding, with a nut of about $2,500 a month and a war chest of only about 5 times that. What do you think? What are our odds? Well, you need to leverage it for sure.
You seem to have a pretty good plan. That's the good news.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Well, so the times that I made a run at going full time, it's sort of like you wind yourself up, and then bam, you got to go, and you don't want to drop. So if you got a health condition or anything else, I mean, you got to monitor your energy level. But going from 0 to 100 takes pressing on the accelerator if you want to get there fast. And so you need to be prepared to do what it takes. For you, I don't know what that means, but if you've got some items listed, you know how to do it, you've got some people that can help, you're going to need to learn to delegate, you're going to need to learn to not do it all, get some people investigate, get them on your team. You know, don't just convince them to do it, get them on your team, get them to see the big picture, get them to see that this is how we put food on the table, get them to see that they can earn a little money. Get them helping and doing the fun parts of the business along with the work. And then if you've got a back stock, get prepared to list that like crazy. Make listing your priority. Make sure you get your listing done every day. And then when you're tired, you got to pack the orders and whatever. But you got to get your listing done every day. And then, you know, there's the necessities. Don't get it the other way around. Because if all you're doing is packing orders and not listing, pretty soon you don't have anything to pack because it's all sold and you don't have anything in the hopper. So as far as money, cut your expenses to the freaking bone. Eat ramen noodles. Do whatever you got to do. Don't buy the vacation. Don't buy the shoes. Don't buy nothing. Keep the inventory turning. Keep the money going. Anything you can maximize, and anything you can minimize.
Yep.
I mean, play this thing for real. If it's all on the line, then you better do what it takes and act like it's all on the line for a while, and then assess. So treat it like the real deal.
That's it.
And you might fail, so have a plan for that. But burn your bridges and go. Make it happen. If it's going to happen, if you're really going to do it, you got to really do it. Don't fail before you start. I failed. It sucks. Don't do it. But if you have to fail a couple of times to make it, that you may have to do that. Just don't shoot yourself in the foot before the gunfight. Draw the dang pistol. Great info. Been watching you for years and have always enjoyed watching your journey. I've been selling since 1998. I always done it on the side, although many times it looked like a full-time income. Well, this summer is my last summer of my main income. A large construction company that I've owned for 20 years. Selling out to a business partner. Looking forward to a new journey. For the next year, I'm going to try to amp it up. See where it goes. Well, control it. Do what you want to do there. I have a lot of inventory listed, 2,100 items. That's good. That's a lot. Only make about $6,000 gross a month. Would want to triple that number if this is going to be my main source of income. I have a lot of lower end stuff, $10 to $20 items. Seem like the norm. I think it's my main issue. Need better items. Any advice would be appreciated. Well,
talked about before in a few different.
Yeah, low end items eat you alive in several ways. The same size $20 item takes the same space to store as the same size $100 item. So you need 5 of the lower end ones, storage wise, for one $100 item. There's a cost. You got to move them around. There's a cost. You got to list 5 instead of 1. There's a cost. So yeah, you need to do some higher end items that have better profit margin. That's one way to go. Like items sometimes is a good way to go. You can fire off 30 of them for one listing. That's another way to go. So there's things you can do there. The other things that eat your profit on lower end items is you got to buy more boxes. You got to run more labels. You got to fill more totes when you're going back and forth to your porch or USPS. You're doing too much work. Postage can be a ass kicker if you offer free shipping, because $20 item, the postage is going to be $3, $4 all the way up to $10. Take that out of your profit, and then do the same if it's a $100 item. It's a fifth the cost of postage. Maybe you got to do a confirmation of delivery, or you got to do something like that. But yeah, the low cost items can be great in a lot of situations, but if you find yourself with 2,100 items and you're only making about $6,000 a month gross, I would try to upgrade some of your items. You're not going to find all $100 items.
I was going to say, start with some higher end items. Let's try to start breaking into some of those markets, figure out what in your area can you buy for a little bit more and sell for more, and then eventually once you get that down, you can start buying for less and selling for more. And that type of thing. Just try to figure out what you can buy and how to break in.
You have a successful business. Don't try to change everything at once. Don't try to, when you go full time, shoot to the moon. Make some changes, enjoy the ride, take some notes, and go with what works.
Yep.
Don't change everything at once. And you already know this because you've been doing this a while. If you're piloting the Titanic, which 2,100 items is like piloting the Titanic, to turn it around is going to take a while. So to go from a $20 item average to a $45 or $50 per item average, you might be able to do that over a year's time, and you'd be doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, you could double your sales right there.
Yep.
So maybe make that a goal. There's a lot of ways to do it. Great story, Mark. I don't know. Must be some other question there. Okay, as a retired school teacher, we're entering things in fairly similar way. I guess this is in relating to the other. About 6,000 gross a month on eBay, and have enough money to invest in good inventory. My store listings are at about 1,000 items. So it just sounds like you and I need to start concentrating on higher end items. Yeah.
Yep.
I can see right away that we've been there, where you feel like you're just spinning your wheels on these lower end items, and there's a big difference between $20. Find out what is your average sale. You can do that pretty easily. There's ways to do that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your average sale item? Ours is, like I said, it's about 50.
Yep.
And it's been less
Mm-hmm.
in the past. And it was, for us, it really came down to the mental game. Just start saying no to the lower price stuff, or for sure buy the higher margin, higher price stuff and the lower stuff, and then list the higher stuff first.
Mm-hmm.
And leave the other stuff in your back stock for a rainy day, and then start training your mind to get the good stuff, and pretty soon you'll have mostly higher end stuff, and you'll stop buying the lower end stuff. That's the theory.
Yep. Hey, it's our old occasional crouton here.
Yeah.
You call it, what do you call it? Croissant? No, I can't even go with casserole. That's it.
Well.
Crouton.
So here's another one of these comments, and it's funny because the comment is, you don't read everything.
Just read it.
I read it.
Yep.
You don't read everything. I read it.
Yep.
I read everything.
Read all the comments.
You don't read everything.
Yeah. He's been around for a long time. That dude.
Where do you get those tote bins? Thanks. I get them at Uline. And I'd like them to be my sponsor. I'm pretty sure those are space age totes from Uline. If not, they look identical.
They are. Woo.
Ask, where do you find such a quantity of good quality camera stuff? It's nuts.
Hey, let's give it away.
Okay, so
Been doing this business for a while.
let's say you want to be in the car parts business, and I'm going to do a whole video on this.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've threatened before, but you have to work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work your way up. So you just go out and you buy as much as you can from the places that you currently buy it from, and then you keep trying and asking and looking for other places. When you find a better place, you just upgrade, and you keep upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. And if it's out there, you will find it if you look. And that's what we did.
You see the guys in the watch market who are dealing $10,000 to $100,000 watches. You're like, how the heck did they get there? Where do they find their connections? And you, I'm pretty sure you ask them, and I can't tell you where to bring $1 million bucks and buy 100 watches for 100.
We're not going to tell you where our honey hole is.
Exactly.
But
there's crazy people out there.
in any market you want to be in on eBay, look up the best sellers, look up all the crazy stuff they're selling. Well, they figured out where it is. You can too. I buy and sell beer signs from time to time, yet there are people online who have literally 1,000 beer signs listed.
Mm-hmm.
Blows my mind. Where do they get them all? I ask the same darn questions.
Exactly.
So
Takes time to figure it out.
it takes time, energy, and effort to figure it out. But I'll tell you what, if we gave you the secret, guess what? You'd blow it anyway. So not only would we tell you where our honey holes are,
You're not ready.
you're not ready.
I don't know, Frank would have put it, but it makes sense.
It's true.
It is.
How many pieces of inventory do you have listed? Woo! Wow. Well, about 3,000. We've had as many as probably 4,000 listed. We've trimmed some of that recently. Will we have more at another time? I don't know, probably, because we have more listers now.
Yep.
We continually try to buy better and better stuff, price it more competitively, lump it together. We try not to list stuff that won't sell. We're constantly improving, so I would rather have 0 items listed and all sold but that's just where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
We're comfortable selling at the pace that we sell too. I seriously don't know how you keep track of everything, especially it all being very similar items. It's crazy. Well, we do ship the wrong items from time to time. We do lose items from time to time. We've worked hard on trying to make it so we can identify items, and we're getting better and better. Even after years and years and years in the business, we're still trying things and getting better and better on that.
Oh, yeah.
But again, we started at some point with one item listed.
Yep.
And then 10 items listed, and then 100 items listed, and then 1,000 items listed, and then 2,000, and then 3,000. So you don't get there without paying your dues and making the mistakes and things like that. So it is crazy.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I still remember the very first item I ever convinced you to buy.
What was it?
As a 20D setup off eBay. We pretty sure we lost money on it.
Oh my gosh.
It was at least a break even.
We should have quit.
Yeah, should have quit while we were ahead.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the first items I also listed was something I had for a couple of years. I played around with, and then I paid like 47 cents for it or something because that's all Mom's change she had, and I ended up selling the lens of it for like 120. So I mean, that's a good story. But the second item we ever bought was pretty bad.
All right, we got 2 more pages here.
Yep.
Amazing to see a 10 by 20 storage unit stacked with money and profits just sitting as you pay the monthly rent of what, $180 to $250 a month possibly? It's $256 a month. They raised my rent.
Yeah.
I'm a part-time seller making, in my opinion, good money for the little time I put in, and it seems many full-timers have amazing back stockpiles just sitting. In my opinion, you're working hard to lose money on the back end paying storage fees. I don't get that. Reselling is fun as it is hunting for items, but when does it come to the point where it consumes your life? I want to own my life and travel, not work 80 hours a week for myself. I don't know if I'm rambling. You pick very well. Good. I hope you stop and smell the roses. Amigo. Good luck. Well, no, good points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I had another job that I was working 40, 50 hours a week and I spent another 10 hours a week in this business, I would make sure that I only pick up the best items.
Mm-hmm.
And I would add probably $1,000 or whatever part-time profit a month or something, you know, just as a shoot it out there number. I would make good money. We're in this full-time, long-term, da-da-da-da-da. There's a lot of reasons we buy a lot of stuff, but it's really not a problem.
Yeah, and the way is you get the best deals when you buy the most stuff.
If we bought 10 items from our source that we buy from, we would get one price. If we buy 10,000 items, we get another price.
Exactly.
And so
100%.
If that source happens to end, we'll have a good year of inventory to figure out some other sources.
That's also true.
We'll back off. So I don't know.
We did have other sources before our source that
Yeah.
so we can always do that.
So I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
We also don't work 80-hour weeks.
Yeah, and we're also not losing money on the storage fees.
No, it's all built. It's all built in there.
We're not selling less than our storage costs.
No, we're not losing money. We're doing quite well. But you know, I get it, and some days I ask myself those questions.
Yeah.
How can we change that? But then again, there's ways to do it, and there's not ways to do it.
We did it. We got a new house. We're gonna move all the storage stuff from there to here. We've changed stuff. It happens.
Yeah, they don't call it the crazy picker life for nothing.
We've been watching for all 6 years or whatever. You probably know everything there is to know about us. Otherwise, just poking your head in, you can always have your opinion.
Well, I'm not offended.
No, I'm not either. I'm just saying, like, to get a little view of our business from that.
Yeah, and I can see that too. Looking forward to seeing your new workspace. Old camera smell is really gross, oily almost. It smells like you could never possibly clean it or something.
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Well, there are some cameras.
There are some bad ones, but I oily. Maybe I'm super desensitized to it. Maybe every camera is just completely repulsive to the normal person. Maybe that's why everybody's looking at us like, what the heck? What's wrong with you people?
Well, and I can say this, that I think this question comes from somebody that's in the South, where there's more heat and humidity, and I bet it's worse.
Definitely could be. Because when I think of like gross smelling camera stuff, I think of like the stuff that comes out of China, like the light stands that smell smoky from manufacturing and stuff. So there's a lot newer stuff that smells like, I just can't pinpoint exactly what he's talking about. I have smelled some oily weird camera stuff.
It's like
it's not most.
If you're a gearhead,
yeah,
you like the smell of gasoline
yeah.
and carburetors and all that. If you're not a gearhead, you're like, oh man,
yeah,
get that out of my face.
I could use a camera if it smelled bad.
I love the smell of cameras in the morning.
Yeah. I pour a cup of cameras and drink it.
Oh man, I just sniff them.
Yeah, snort it.
But I understand what you're saying, because we used to have more crappy, stinky cameras.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We buy less of that kind of stuff now, or we just don't try to clean it up, or we just throw it away.
Yeah, cameras you find at the garage sales for the most part 35, 40, 50 years old, so I can see that. I mean, smell creeps in over time.
Right.
Makes sense.
So your storage unit is how far away from where you live, and why?
Give us the address.
We talked about it. It's a day's drive, and it's because it's. Oh wait, the storage unit was chosen by its proximity to where it was purchased, if I remember correctly. Well, yeah, that's where we buy all our stuff. So we did that by plan and choice, and it was funny because we didn't have the storage unit for a while, and we bought the storage unit up there and got a bigger one because of several steps of buying that we did. Last year we bought quite a bit more of camera stuff than ever before. This year we've cut back a little bit, and it just was out of necessity. And again, we're changing again now. So can you all provide any help as to pricing a camera? So
there's an oddball one.
It is. And so pricing anything, if you're going to do this business, you got to do it. Now, if you want to sell us a really expensive camera for a good deal, we're interested. But otherwise, pricing, you have to either go on YouTube, you have to go on eBay and figure that out, or Google it, back up a notch and Google it, or WorthPoint.
Yeah, I do literally the exact same work that he would probably do to find that camera. So that's about what it comes down to. I do the Google search thing, I go on a bunch of different sites, I try to figure out how desirable the camera is basically the deal, because there's so many levels. Oh yeah, condition too. Yeah, there's a lot of different factors to it.
There's a lot of different factors.
1 in 50, 1 in 100, I find a camera that you can't figure out what the price is, and you just put it up there for whatever you think it's worth.
So
about how it works. Find some comparables.
We dig our own holes in our backyards for our deck, and you've got to dig your own holes too.
Well, in that case, it would take me just as much research as somebody else could do if they knew what they were searching for.
The last anticlimactic question, and it's not necessarily that it's a bad one, it's just kind of like...
Yeah, it's the last question.
Where are you guys? I'm in Black Mountain, North Carolina, beside Asheville.
That's me, man. I'm here.
Well,
also.
we like the Carolinas.
Yeah.
I like the mountains there. I've been through Asheville area. We're in northwest Kansas.
Yep. A bit in the middle there.
Huh?
Pretty centrally located.
No, we're in still considered in centrally located in the United States.
Yeah, compared to Carolinas, which are close.
We're not centrally located in Kansas.
No.
We're still northwest Kansas. We're still in the near west.
Wow.
What a massive question. There. So
yeah, wow.
As with any of our question and answer shows, I think they're all different. We've had some where I think we were sniffing the cameras.
Yeah.
And I think we were a little wackier.
Yep.
We've had some where we probably had a little more fun. This one felt kind of technical and kind of like we got stuff out there. I hope it was valuable to you. We plan to do more of these. We have some other YouTube and teaching and other projects that are sort of in the works. Not going to talk much about that, but we're going to continue to do these. The clock will start now, and then maybe in 30 days we'll do another question and answer thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think as long as they're popular, we'll do them. It's a good format for us.
Yep.
I think it's valuable for us, you and I, to sit here, and it helps us get on the same page about some things. I mean, we really are on the same page.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. What aren't we on?
Nah, I don't know. Pretty much everything.
Oh, man, I got to figure that out. You don't like the same beer as me, or what?
Nah.
You don't, actually.
No, not really.
That's the weirdest thing. I guess I like IPAs. I like some citrus and...
I don't know exactly what I like yet. I mean, it's complicated.
Yeah. I don't like drinking beer after I've been slightly food poisoned. I can tell you that. Oh my gosh.
That didn't go well.
Yeah.
Yep.
That didn't go well at all. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, the old thumbs up meter probably keeps us on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube changed all around. I'm sure the thumbs up is going to be the only thing soon. I mean, they're not going to have a choice.
Pretty soon, I think you're going to get a choice between you put a circle up or this up.
Yeah, that'd be a different website. I mean, that'd be a new version of YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know, but for now, give us a thumbs up if you like the video. If you don't like the video, just tune out earlier.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're still here and you don't like the video, you're really crazy.
You got something wrong.
You're part of the crazy picker life.
Yeah.
Crazy
if you want to leave a comment about a follow-up question or any comment about this video, we'll read them all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you read them all?
I read most of them. I mean, I've been tuning into the latest videos.
I went back through these
used to watch them all.
pages of, I made the font bigger, but it was 200 pages of comments.
Mm-hmm.
Only one or two I hadn't recalled seeing.
Yeah.
And then I read them all there. So
I read all the comments like after a couple hours after the video comes out. So if anything comes out past that, I probably haven't seen it. Like some of those camera specific things. I answer camera questions from time to time on there, but nothing super specific.
I look at them probably once a day to see what's
new.
It's
different when you get the notifications. You can actually tell what's going on there. I just outside looking in.
No, I turned off my notifications.
Well, I mean, you get a little messages thing on YouTube.
No, I don't
there.
do that.
Oh, okay.
I got too many things bing, boing, boing,
Yeah.
boing, boing going on. Okay,
Yep.
What else? Thanks for watching. That's one thing.
Yep.
Thumbs up, subscribe, yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe below if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to tune in for the next one.
Check out my radio voice on the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, it's almost time for the extra where little Sis is being chased by the big gumdrop.
Yeah.
Pick well.
List often.
Wheeler and dealer.
Out of here.
Found us.
What? Are you following us around?
Yeah.
Why are these things following us?
I